Let's watch the first ball after tea. I'm not sure how long they'll be out there for. Roach bowls it, and Stokes steers this down to backward point. The light is not good, and it's depending entirely upon the floodlights now that are beaming down. And they're hoping to get another, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes of play. And I just can't see that happening, I'm afraid.
I think they've definitely been told to stay on, because this is Southampton, they'd have been off. It was definitely darker here than it is Southampton. Wouldn't you say?
I think it's darker now than it was before tea, when they were bowling Brathwaite as well from that end. Comes Roach again from round the wicket and bowls to Stokes, who stands up and plays out to mid-wicket. Yeah, so the national anthem, you're really sort of singing solos next to each other, aren't you? It must be really embarrassing.
Yeah, and you're a little bit unsure. Graham Swan used to...
He used to bellow it, didn't he?
Yeah, me and him used to sing together, stand next to each other, and Jimmy. So we tried to belt it out, but it is a very unnerving. It's not like Twickenham where there's 80,000 belting out for that moment, because it starts at 11 o'clock, people are still drifting in, and
occasionally, unkindly, a microphone goes round with the camera too, doesn't it? Here's Roach. Stokes is down the pitch at him and then punches the ball firmly to mid-off. Along the ground it goes, and there's no run. The umpires don't look twitchy at the moment. They're not consulting light meters or looking at each other necessarily, but this light, unless the glass is different in the room I was sitting in before tea to this, which I don't think it is, this now looks actually really quite dark, and you feel they could go off at any moment, but let's hope they don't. And there's no change in the distance either. Here's Roach, and Stokes goes back into his stumps this time and allows that to go by to Durrich, who's had a mixed afternoon. He's taken a couple of stingers on his fingers and wrists and so on. He's had a bit of a tricky day behind the stumps.
I just did get a text from Tim Jones, my singing teacher. He was listening.
Well, I hope he called you a coward for not singing on that Jerusalem.
No, he said, I was listening, you were very modest. But thank you for your mention. The texts have been flooding in, so...
112 for 3. Here's Roach. Shoulders rocking, and Stokes reaches for this and drives at a wide ball. Doesn't time it. Just, runs out to mid-off.
I think if we go off, we're not coming back on,
Well, I think that's true, unfortunately. They've got to be on the field at 7 o'clock in order to go through to 7:30, if that makes sense. The city, we can see perfectly clearly to the right there, lots of cranes at the moment in operation in Manchester. The city centre just a few miles, 2 or 3 miles, I suppose, over to our right-hand side. Stokes lets that one go through outside the off stump, and it's taken by Durrich, but the cloud is just low all around, and there's no breaks in it. Illingworth is walking in that direction towards where the weather is coming from, and well, he's not wanting to look up. But that way, he's just ploughing on. But there's no gesturing and no brandishing of light meters or anything at the moment. So it looks as if they're determined to try and play what they can. I'll tell you what I can see down there. I can see Shannon Gabriel. So he's just taking the cap there, isn't he, from Roston Chase. So he's back on the field, although it's going to be a while, I think, before he can bowl.
I didn't realise you're a pianist, Daggers.
Oh, a very long time ago. Yeah.
You should get that quiet.
Well, But, it's like enjoy playing the piano. Lovely thing to do. But these silly fingers now mean, unfortunately, I can't reach an octave very clearly, so the piano's sort of locked away now, but I managed to thrash a bit of Jerusalem.
You did thrash it, yeah.
112 for 3. Chase parts his hands, moves in and bowls as men around the bat, as that's clipped away by Sibley, or runs away to backward square leg. Fielder there's on his hands and knees as he fields. 112 for 3. The lights in the pavilion there at the far end very clearly showing as the bar below that'll be deserted. And Chase again goes in, bowls a little shorter, and Sibley works again to the same fielder at square leg. I'm not sure where our colleagues in the written press are here. Are they in that far end? Maybe they're in that area that's lit on the third floor of the pavilion there. Chase bowls down the leg side, and Durrich again. He wears that one rather than taking it cleanly. 112 for 3. Chase took 2 wickets in 2 balls either side of lunch. Dismissing Burns, LBW, off they walked. And then the next ball, first ball after lunch, is one that turns, actually spins. It's too short though, Sibley can play that comfortably. Zach Crawley turned his first ball straight to leg slip, He was out for a duck, having played very well in the second innings at Southampton. Chase this time brings Sibley onto the front foot and fields off his own bowling. Shaven-headed, but bearded. Chase again swings his arms, moves in, bowls, and Sibley very solidly is forward. The ball, as it tends to do with Sibley, ends up in the leg side. And there is no run. 112 for 3, 48 overs gone. His slow run rate, less than 2.5 per over. West Indies will look at that first hour before lunch and think they've just missed a trick. Perhaps the bowling wasn't very accurate. Only Pope I can see, ready to come in next.
Got another headband on.
Yes, he's probably a shaggy-haired young man now as well. They're speculating earlier, but I guess it's true that they simply haven't had a chance to go to the hairdresser, have they? Because they were locked down in their bubble before we were allowed to go.
I'm surprised I haven't seen a few more DIY haircuts.
Yeah. That was an appalling one that Ben Stokes inflicted on Joe Root a couple of years ago, wasn't it? That was at Southampton, in fact. In comes Roach, bowls outside the off stump. Stokes allows it to go through.
I had a dodgy lockdown haircut.
Well, I saw it actually on a Zoom call. I was most surprised.
I don't think you saw when it first
the
happened.
Original. No, I saw maybe a few weeks into it where it looked like the sheep shearer had been round and just did you us a bit of a favour at the end. My word.
It's good, isn't it?
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
You look like a gangster. Good grief.
I can't send that. I'm sorry. As if
That must have been for charity. Here's Stokes coming forward and playing out to cover, and there is no run. It's the moustache that kind of finishes it off.
So we did. So we had the Essex quiz. And Mark Bettini, who used to captain Essex, who was actually my best man when he was with us lockdown. We decided that we would both have slightly dodgy haircuts.
Look, I'm going to say this, and don't take it the wrong way, but that would not have looked out of place in the back row of Village People. Well, that is an extraordinary look. Now, this is Stokes fishing for one down the leg side.
I kind of liked it.
Did you?
No, I did.
But it needed much upkeep. Basically, it's completely shaven all around the ears and halfway up. And then there's quite a lot on top. And a moustache.
Very dodgy moustache.
It's the old sort of Mexican Dennis Lilly sort of moustache. And Dennis Lilly in his prime. Must have a name for it, that sort of moustache. Is it a Mexican moustache?
Love the idea of a Mexican Dennis Lilly. It's a glorious.
But it was like that, wasn't it, with the droopy. Here's Roach round the wicket, bowls outside the off stump, and Stokes allows it to go by.
Yes, I quite enjoyed it, but I was told I wasn't allowed another one like that.
But I'm surprised.
Oh, signal no ball. I lost it.
Thank you. I was looking at.
There was a game of cricket going on.
So that what we're seeing now is that been?
No, it's been trimmed a couple more times.
Okay.
Since
It
was a big step.
It's a brutal cut. 113 for 3. And Stokes waits as Roach makes his way in again, still carrying shadows, but it might be a little bit improved from the first over after tea, and that time Stokes plays no stroke.
So you haven't got too many options.
No, not. Let's get the clippers out every now and then.
Do you do it yourself?
I do occasionally do it myself, but Emma had to go last time, did a reasonable job, but it's sad, 'cause I used to have quite a lot of hair. Don't say I miss it necessarily. It's much easier now being virtually bald. Well, it just is. You haven't got to worry about it anymore. In comes Roach, bowls. Stokes takes a pace down the pitch and then takes the bat out of the way. Durrich collects that low down by his boots. And there's no run. Booking a bit of a sweat up there. Roach will rub that into the ball. Of course, no saliva being used.
Sorry, I've just seen a picture of Jonathan.
That is a very harsh photograph. That's Henry Moran. He's horrible.
From the back of the box.
I think I was about 15 years old then.
Yeah, he doesn't look much older. It's very, very long.
There's a lot of it. This is pushed away by Stokes out to cover. And there's no run. It's been a quiet day, but you can watch the best of the action that we've had on the BBC Sport website and the app, of course. And Today at the Test will be on at 7 o'clock on BBC Two.
What if to get a haircut like that in the 70s or probably 60s? Would it have been there? What did you ask for when you went into
the 70s? Well, I think I hate to admit it, but I think in those days I think I was asking for your trendiest trim, please, barber, and he came up with that, which then became, unfortunately, I think rather unkindly known as a mullet. I never quite
Kevin Keegan.
Oh, well, I wasn't Kevin Keegan. He had a full perm on, didn't he? I never had that. But here's Chase over the wicket, and he bowls, and that's pushed away out to mid wicket, and there's no run. I mean, a mullet is considered derogatory. Now I'm looking at Andy Zaltzman. I don't know why, because I'm not sure. I don't think Andy would ever have had a mullet. There's Chase, and Sibley's forward, playing to mid wicket, and there's no run.
My hair is by fate and physics. No mullets.
No mullets. They're sort of a bit sneered at, aren't they, these days? A mullet. Chase bowls. It's flicked away by Sibley to backward square leg.
I think we should put a few of these images up on the old...
No, I don't think
Why
so,
not?
thank you. That's a mullet, is it? That's a good old... Yeah, that looks like a mullet. What year would that have been? Mid-80s. Goes Chase again over the wicket. Bowls, and that's pushed away past short leg. Some excitement there around the bat, but he smothered it. And fielded it backward square leg, and there's no run. 113 for 3. Sibley on 46. This is the 50th over of his innings. And Chase moves in and bowls to him full, and he can work one there into the leg side. Late setting off, though. The throw comes into Chase, who has the bails off, but Sibley's made his ground. He was very slow setting off. Stokes seemed to be perfectly in control, and it really seemed from here as if Stokes would have been running towards the danger end, really, or certainly the closer end for the fielder, but the fielder made the right choice, and he threw at the end where Sibley was aiming, and he got in okay, but perhaps a little bit tighter than should have been.
Good single for Ben Stokes. That's what Dom Sibley needs. Naturally attacking player against spin. Doesn't seem to have too many options, so any chance of a half a run, you need your partner to try and rotate the strike, trying to put a bit of pressure on Roston Chase, and you must quite enjoy bowling Sibley because you know he's not going to do anything different. It's very patient batting.
114 for 3. Stokes with a short leg bowls. He's forward. In fact, it's short leg of fields. That just a couple of yards from the bat, and that ends the over. Ian White from Painter, and of course the Mexican style of moustache is called a Viva Zapata, which explains the nickname of Zap.
Really?
4. Oh, Cookie, your mentor.
Who?
Graham Gooch. He was known as Zap for... Yeah, for years, because he had the drooping moustache. Definitely, that makes sense now. Have you not heard him call that?
I've never, all the years I've known Gucci, never heard that.
Well, there you go. There you go. If someone looks up a cricketer's who's who or something on Graham Gooch, they'll see that definitely he was nicknamed Zap. Allison's coming in here. I'll just bowl this ball, as it were, and then time for a change. 114 for 3, and we've got Roach coming in bowling outside the off stump. Sibley again twitches, takes his bat out of the way, and through it goes to the keeper. So, Alistair, your thoughts on that? You see, you do live and learn, you see, and then Allison's coming in here.
The problem with you, Aggers, I'm not entirely sure whether everything you say is trying to stitch me up, or it's just rumours that... Anyway, enough about moustaches, because it took me about 3 weeks to grow that very dodgy one. I think clears off.
He's suggesting Aggers is possibly a wind-up, Merchants, as Roach is in now to Sibley well wide outside the off stump, and he leaves it alone as he's there on 47, 114 for 3.
Yes, he is, isn't he? From the moment I've turned up on this, I've been lucky enough to be working for TMS from that airport in West Indies. I will never forget it, with him hiding away, said he would pick me up from the airport, and he did, but filmed it, made me look all lost. So yeah, from that moment on, I knew I was in trouble.
Just means that you're part of the team. Here is Roach then. Leaden skies as he's in now, and that's tighter on the stumps, and it draws a shot from Sibley defensively into the offside. Picked up and no run. It's a hard-earned 47 from Sibley. It isn't what he described as fluent run scoring, 47 off 159. He is still there, though.
Just 7 scoring shots in the last 59 balls for Sibley.
And before Aggers leaves the box, he's brought you some proof of Graham Gooch's nickname.
Yeah.
Sibley faces up, 47. That open stance of his outside the off stump as he brings that front foot across and then allows it to go through to the keeper. Not sure that's a certain encyclopedic type of website. It's reliable, is it? Are you trusting that source?
Yeah, I am. I've never heard. I don't know whether it's just all the respect the Essex lads had for Gucci, and we never called him that. But
somebody did.
I might next time I see him. I'll ask him about it.
Floodlights on. Still 2 slips and a gully behind Dominic Sibley as he waits. Roach rushing in. He's playing at that quite late on that off stump. And it's forced out towards the covers where it's fielded, so he again stays on 47, inching his way up towards the half century.
How many balls has Kemo Roach gone between wickets? Because he definitely didn't get a wicket last Test match. Didn't get a wicket in the Test match before that against Afghanistan. Is there a record of the longest? And we haven't set this up, by the way. People thinking he looks poised.
Roach in now. Clipped away. That's a little too straight from Roach, and Sibley is easily able to angle it away behind the square leg umpire for 2 to take him on to 49. And England 116 for 3 now in this evening session.
Roach now up to 55 wicketless overs in this series, 0 for 114, 18 maiden, so very good economy. And he only bowled about, I think, 15 overs in that test with Afghanistan, which didn't take any. But I'll dig around, see if I can find a longest wicketless sequence.
I wonder, though, there's got to be somebody in club cricket land who has gone a long, long time between wickets, a sort of premier fast bowler.
I think Stuart Broad went quite a long time after that 8 for 15. I think he went quite a long time. I don't think we got a wicket in the second innings of that game. And then I'm pretty sure it might have been something like 40, 50 overs for him. That does seem quite a lot. Because we then played at, I suppose, in the Oval, wasn't it, the next game?
Here's a new over from Chase into Stokes, and he's defending slip and short leg in place. Picked up by short leg and no run. And he's going to get to work on that then, so you'll have an answer.
Indian bowler called Nilesh Kulkarni made a test debut against Sri Lanka in 1997.
As Chase is around the wicket with his off-spin, strong sweep, but it's struck on the pad. The ball bobbles away towards the offside, only half appeal. Stokes looking to flay that, or at least control it along the ground, but getting forward down on that knee. The ball striking him outside the line of the leg stump. And Chase is in again. Around the wicket once more, Stokes forward defensively. He's playing these shots with conviction.
It must be a hard wicket to score on. For Ben Stokes to play like this, it just shows, it must, just from here, it looked a really good wicket. It must be slow, must be slightly hard to time.
Chase in again, a bit quicker. That's worked its way through the gap between short mid-wicket and mid-on. Now come back for 2. This is Shannon Gabriel chasing after it, looking a little laboured in the field as he goes. They've come back for 3. He didn't move quickly. 119 for 3. England now. Then Stokes on to 21.
Kulkarni, the Indian left-arm spinner, on his test debut, got a wicket with his first ball. Ended up with 1 for 195 from 70 overs as Sri Lanka scored 952 for 6. So, he went 69 overs and 5 balls of that a wicket.
Like the fast bowler from India, Pankaj. What was the story with him when he toured England? Was it just a long, long time he had to wait for his first wicket of that series? Full now. Sibley on 49, facing up to Chase to see if he can get past that half-century mark. Let's go with the 150 and the 50 already to his name in his Test career. 163 balls he's faced. 3 men around the bat. Chase is in, and Sibley, with a flick of the wrist, works it away through the onside for the single that brings up his 50. It's not necessarily been a pretty 50 to watch, but it's been a hard-worked 50, and Joe Root is there thumping on the glass of the dressing room in applause and appreciation. But he has stood firm when 2 wickets fell in quick succession around him. Burns and Crawley both went either side of lunch, And Sibley stuck in there, building partnerships, however slow they come.
Yeah, well played, Dom Sibley. Back-to-back 50s. He's looked in control. Hasn't looked in really any kind of trouble. Just back to his way. I think we're going to see a lot more of this. Laying the platform. I think we all would like to see a few more shots, but he's doing a fantastic job for England in terms of really grinding West Indies there. And it's been tough conditions, actually. I think we've got the lights have been all day. It's been cloudy. The pitch was undercover. It looked a belter, but there must be something, a little bit of movement there. We've seen movement. The odd one has kept the batter honest, and he's managed to fight through that. Very, very solid, very good judgment outside. It's off stump, and when they do come straight, he clips on the onside for 1 or 2, and it's very good opening batting.
He's got that patience to wait for the ball where he knows he can score without undue risk. As Roach is in again now to Sibley, 50 not out, and that one is off the hips, past the square leg umpire. It's been well timed as well, running away towards the boundaries. A good sprint being put on in pursuit, but the ball gets there first. Boundary number, what would that be, Andy, for the innings so far?
7, 6, only the 6th 4, and the one Stokes by Ben, 1-6 by Ben Stokes. Sibley's 50 came from 164 balls with 2 boundaries. That was his third of the innings. It's his third score of 50 or more in his 8th test.
And to come back from a duck in the first innings in Southampton, so 2 50s now. And he's been looking composed as Roach rushes in again outside the off stump. That's a little less composed. It maybe came back on him a touch and looking to cut it away through the offside, bottom edged it firmly into the ground.
Yeah, similar to the one he dragged on off the no ball just before he got out last week. Just probably get a little bit low. That shot of his legs is a lovely shot. At the time the ball, we're saying how hard it must be to time. He absolutely nailed that. Really let the ball come under his eyes, and that's his super strength, isn't it? You straight on his legs, he doesn't tend to miss out very often.
It's 124 for 3. Roach in again. Sibley, we had a little think about that outside the off stump. The bat was dangling momentarily. You're going to give him the benefit that he drew the hands in at the last moment, or has he been beaten by Roach?
I'm going to do all the wait for the replay. Sit on the fence. No, he definitely poked at it, and then as the ball came just past, he brought it. I'd love to see how a real patience game, whether they do just bowl. If they bowled 4th stump 2 in and full, what Dom Sibley would do.
Flags fluttering above the red pavilion here. Outside the off stump, a little more bounce and carry and a shouldering of arms from Sibley and staring back down the pitch. A picture of concentration, as he's had to be out there since the start of the innings. Just to tell you, while Roach is walking back to his mark, of a couple of cricket podcasts which are out, including a new episode of Stumped, which is out online at the moment, with Jim Maxwell from Australia with his view and Cherry Sharma from India as well. A view from the boundary interviews I was talking about earlier, they're available on BBC Sounds as well, and the New Tailenders featuring James Anderson as Roach is in again outside the off stump. A little bit of movement away from Sibley, lets it go through to the keeper. So you can hear James Anderson, who's not playing in this match, get his thoughts. Stumped, there was a lovely package actually on village cricket and just the return of the recreational game and those evocative sounds, the sound of the lawnmower cranking up, the rumble of the heavy roller, the clatter of studs on concrete. That one for me is always the most evocative. Not sure why. I think it goes back to childhood and sitting around pavilions at club games and hearing cricketers clatter down the steps. Roach in, Sibley outside the off stump again. Well, this has been probably the most uncertain he's looked. Now he's reached 50. It's a little bit of flirting outside the off stump and beaten on occasion. 124 for 3, end of the over.
Yeah, he's played in the ball in the channel more on that those 6 balls after getting 50 than he has done in the 160 before then. He seems to be very unflappable, very calm. Whatever the situation, I think he's going to bat in his way, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of James Anderson, have you spoken to him since we've been here and he knew he was going to be rested?
No, only via text message last night, just to see how he was, and yeah.
Knowing him as you do, he's quite comfortable with the sense of being rested and rotated as Chase is in and Stokes' time, playing carefully into the onside, no run.
I think he understands. I think he does understand this one. He's a person who wouldn't like it normally at all. But I was expecting a little bit more of a fight back on the tech, saying, "Can't believe I've been."
Chase firing one in on the pads of Stokes, and he's worked it past the square leg umpire, well behind square for a gentle one.
That I've been rested, I want to play, but I think he does understand the situation he's been in. Obviously, he must have bowled close to 50 overs last week and not bowling any at all. We're seeing the effects of Shannon Gabriel. He looks like he's picked up a niggle. So it's definitely a caution for safety first from England. It's a big call in a must-win game to leave out James Anderson, but you can see it makes sense, doesn't it? You can see why they're doing it, that they want him for the whole summer.
3 around the bat chase to Sibley now on his pads. Turn to short mid-wicket. Oh, he's sent back by Stokes, and he could be out. Oh, but the throw is just wide of the stumps, and the keeper wasn't able to gather, and so Sibley is sent back safely. Well, just these last 5 minutes, a few moments of alarm, saying how calm that he had looked.
Yeah, there might have been a run there, but I think the problem with where Ben Stokes is, there's so many men on that leg side, you can't actually see the angle.
Went through the legs of short leg, ricocheted off the inside of the calf, picked up, and then the throw. I can't see from that angle if a throw actually directed on the stumps would have had him in trouble.
No, I think he would have been okay. Wasn't the most elegant dive I've ever seen from anyone. Anyone knows he's not a great diver. You sometimes see those, Ben Stokes in the World Cup final, Superman flat body on the floor. Most of Dom Sibley's knees were getting dragged through there, but
he's having to do a fair amount of readjusting of the clothing and the equipment before he's ready to face up again. He'll take his time here. Roston Chase is being made to wait, but settling over his bat now on 54, flex of the knees, watching intently as Chase is in. A little bit flatter, that one turned, but he went back and played up to mid-off. Well watched. So there is still that sort of unpredictability, isn't it, with Roston Chase? Some are turning genuinely, some have stayed straight. He waits again. 3 around the bat, coming forward, getting well over it defensively, smothering that spin.
Yeah, he has a very good record of getting the knack of picking up wickets. 8 for in the West Indies a couple of years ago. And started off here with a couple of wickets. I'd say bonus wickets on the first morning.
Going back again, blocking with that front leg, ends up swung around almost square to him, then fielded at short leg. So 125 for 3 with Sibley on 54 and Stokes on 22. And this after Rory Burns this morning, 2 quick wickets fell to Roston Chase either side of lunch. It was a spell of bowling in the opening session. It was only a 1 hour session when play started today because of the delayed start due to rain, and the West Indies really didn't make the most of it. They opted to bowl first after winning the toss, and with just 1 hour and sort of murky skies, you expected the bowlers to, or hoped from the West Indies point of view, to see the bowlers running in with intent, with accuracy, recreating really the way they bowled in Southampton, but too many opportunities, too many loose deliveries really, or at least not making the batsman play. Conversely, England weren't really able to get the scoreboard moving at any great pace either, and so it meant that when the first wicket did fall after the close on the first hour approaching lunch, only 29 runs were on the board. Then Crawley went first ball back straight after lunch to Chase, so 29 for 2 at that point. Then a stand of 52 between Sibley and Root. That's 81 for 3 when Root was caught by Holder. Second slip, a big drive off Joseph, but Jason Holder back into the attack here to Stokes, and he's beaten outside. Past the outside edge, outside off stump, and Holder in his follow through has paused and he's got a grin on his face looking back towards Stokes. Now, is this the moment? Just a bit of movement off the pitch again and away from the left-hander. That did die on Dowrich as it went through to the keeper. Tuffer's back alongside me. Well, maybe this. We've got Dominic Sibley's just past 50 and then flirted a little bit and had a few danger moments. We've now got Holder back on to Stokes with the floodlights on. Can he inject a little bit of energy and a sense of danger here for England? Around the wicket again, left alone that time by Stokes. We'll get Tuffers in a moment.
Just 6 boundaries in the first 50 overs, the 6 and 5 fours, which is the fewest boundaries in the first 50 overs of a test innings in England since 1999.
That tells a story, doesn't it?
Stodgy pitch, stodgy outfield, and less than fluid batting. And, well, Ali Mitchell has now stepped in. And Tuffers is plugged in.
Oh.
Here comes Holder around the wicket again to Stokes. Tighter once more. He's drawn forward, playing a shot past the outside edge. Well, already the first 3 balls of this over have been enticing, and
You don't have to touch that one, do you? That one shouldn't be out.
don't touch that one.
No, I
Tuffers,
haven't
when you
touched
walk
that
in.
one. I haven't touched it.
Oh, mate, I'd blame the previous incumbent for
I'm going
unplugging
to.
you.
I did, definitely. I did my usual procedure.
I'd blame the knight. I
There
think
you
you'll
go.
blame this. I think
Oh,
you'll blame this.
was it Sir Alistair?
Might have been.
Got
might
his
have been.
leads wrong.
But anyway, it
Anyway,
does
yes.
feel a little bit as if the Holder v Stokes contest.
It is.
It's on at the moment. It's on.
It is.
He's on 22. Holder, huge figure of a man as he brings Stokes forward and bat and pad, and the ball ends up by his feet.
And
This is a good over.
And he's bowling that wobble seam, isn't he? Which the odd one just bites in this pitch. I think it might be a little bit tacky. I know we heard that they said it was dry this morning, but the odd one, when it just kisses that wobble seam, leaves Ben Stokes. And he likes getting across, doesn't he, to Holder. He got out at Southampton there a couple of times, caught off the outside edge, almost sort of looking to play at the mid-wicket or mid-on from about a foot outside. So the contest is afoot.
Holder wants his man for a 3rd time in the series. Around the wicket he goes, outside the off stump, a little wider that time, and so left alone by Stokes. It's not been sort of easy batting all day, has it? It's because of the conditions, because of the nature of the pitch.
Been a
Slow
grind.
scoring.
Been a grind, hasn't it? England sort of grinding their way to a first innings total, which they haven't particularly done successfully in the past, so they'll be very mindful of that. They're going to be wanting something like 250, 300 minimum, but with the conditions that it is, they're going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah. It's still a long way off, isn't it?
Yeah.
125 for 3. If that becomes 125 for 5, England have got the jitters again.
Yeah.
Holder around the wicket again, full. Stokes able to clip it away through the onside in front of the man at mid-wicket chasing back to the deep.
Yeah, they've
And
gone
Stokes
that-
coming back for 2.
Yeah, they've gone nowhere after tea, have they really? A lot of dot balls and just sort of getting into their work a bit now. But it's one of those days, I'm afraid. It's one of those pitches and with those conditions that you just can't go after the bowling because you will lose wickets.
England are 127 for 3 with Stokes on 24. Sibley on 54. So Tuffers allow you to perhaps project where the rest of the day might unfold, and then
Yes.
Simon Mann's coming in.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a grind, as I said. But Dominic Sibley will be happy with his work. 54 off 174. Has been getting stuck in and doing his role, which he's been told to do, which is absorb balls and tick away runs. And there we have it. Overs 9, runs 15. Slow going, Simon.
It is Tuffers, yeah. It's been hard work. It's also a role he seems to relish as well. Not just
Yeah.
been picked for it. It seems to be the way he likes to play. He's happy to play.
Yeah. It's a skill. It's a skill
Yeah.
because, as a batsman, you want to be feeling that you're dominating and feeling bat on ball, but he's absolutely delighted just to be the rock.
Well, what will be interesting, now he's gotten past 50, his Chase is about to bowl a new over, they're
Yeah.
sorting out the field, is if he does score a bit quicker. Because if he doesn't, there's an interesting stat building. He could be on course
Yes.
for the slowest century in a test match
go
in
on.
England.
Who's got that? Bob Warmer?
It's not Bob Warmer,
Oh, isn't
actually.
it?
We just had a look at it.
Who is it?
It's Keith Fletcher.
Oh,
329 balls. Chase bowls. Forward goes Sibley.
India.
Playing defensively into the offside, and there's no run.
In India, perhaps?
No, in England. A test match in England.
Oh,
It says
right.
It was against Pakistan.
How many balls?
329 balls.
That is a block.
127 for 3. And here goes Chase bowling to Sibley. Sibley gets a run there through forward square leg, clipping it away. Takes him to 55. Daisy's keeping an eye on that. He's 55 not out from 175 balls.
So if you double that, he's done it.
Yeah. But I mean, batsmen tend to gradually pick up pace, don't they, as they get into their innings. That's the way
Yes.
to start with.
Yeah, get yourself in.
Exactly.
Start becoming more adventurous. And then by the time you get your 100, you're seeing it and you're looking to dominate.
Chase bowls to Stokes. Stokes out. Oh, strange one that. He tried to clip it into the onside. There's a woody sound in there.
Definitely.
Inside edge onto the body. It ballooned up in the air towards a notional silly point. There was no silly point, and the slip fielder got interested for a moment.
And there's that bounce.
Yeah, and turn as well away
Yeah.
from the left-handed Stokes, looking to play against the spin. into the onside. Chase bowls, Stokes is back, and this time does nudge it away through square leg for a single.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that Dom is that kind of player, though, Simon.
He just,
I think he
just keeps going.
He just keeps going, plays every ball on its merits, and if he gets beaten outside the off stump, just goes back. And whether he's on 70 or 20, I think he's watchful, and just plays his way, which I don't mind really.
I saw Andy Zaltzman shake his head rather doubtfully. I think have we given you dud information? Here is Chase bowling. Forward goes Sibley, plays that into the onside, and there is no run. 129 for 3. This was looked up in the other box before I came on. So unless
might be wrong.
The information source is wrong.
Always Dandy. He's got something up his sleeve.
Chase bowls. Sibley gets another run there, clipping Chase through mid-wicket towards the deep mid-wicket boundary. Kemar Roach territory, and there's another run to the total. Partnership's worth 49. It's 130 for 3. The run rate is a steady 2.32. Stokes 25, Sibley 56. Andy?
Well, according to Andrew Sampson's database, Colin Cowdrey's century against West Indies at Edgbaston in 1957 took 535 balls. But 434 minutes. So I don't know. I'll have to double check. That seems a lot of balls, even by over rates for the 1950s. And it also has Cyril Washbrook getting a 368 ball 100 against West Indies at Lords in 1950.
So, but Keith Fletcher is there somewhere, is he?
Fletcher is 329 balls.
But he's the third slowest.
At the Oval. Lindsay Hassett at Nottingham, 333 balls 1948. Ken Barrington, 334 balls 1965.
Right. So
500.
But, cling to it.
No, I'm not going to. Dud information.
Yeah, could
so
be.
he's nowhere near. Cowdrey, how many?
500 and something.
Well, it says here 535 balls.
And how many minutes?
434 to reach his 100.
What's that in hours and stuff?
7 hours and a quarter.
Oh, 2 days almost. 1 3/4 days. That is a grind.
There's a new over from Holder outside the off stump. Sibley tries to force it away. Misses on the inside there. The ball going past the inside edge.
Yeah, he's got every opportunity to dragging them on, hasn't he, Dom Sibley? That's the one trouble, because he's got that shut back face, and if he tries to force on the offside, if he gets any sort of bat on that, that's going crashing into the stumps for me.
Yeah. Which year was that, Andy? The Colin Cowdrey innings, was that West Indies? Was it?
1957 against West Indies.
Is that Aggers getting it right?
Holder bowls. Nips away there from Sibley, but started wide, and Sibley let it go by.
The Cricinfo stat might be for matches for which they have sort of confirmed deliveries faced. And I know with some other matches, people have sort of worked out from scorecards how many balls
they were just guessing
faced.
back in the day, were they?
Yeah, so it was only really from about 1980 that balls faced was universally recorded in
was it really?
in Test cricket, which plays havoc with the scoring rate stats, tough as havoc.
Well, the person who gave me that information just come into the box looking rather indignant.
Yeah, he did.
Here's Holder bowling, and Sibley drives and misses. A lovely delivery from Holder. You can understand his frustration there on the drive, past the outside edge, and through to Dowrich. He was the BBC cricket correspondent. He looked it up on a well-known cricket website. David Ackland emails, Sibley and Stokes have similar run rates. Sibley saw off the new ball. Why the focus on Sibley run rate but not Stokes? Preconceived ideas of what's expected from each of them.
No, yeah, I think Sibley's done a pretty good job. I'm not knocking it at all. As we've said earlier, a bowler's dream. Keep him out there, put some miles in the fast bowler's legs of the West Indies.
Holder bowls, Sibley lets that one go, and it's through to Dowrich, 130 for 3. Of course, Stokes, when he played that amazing innings at Headingley,
3 off for 70, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. 3 runs on the first 70 balls. He has shown a willingness to really get stuck in early on, but what he does, of course, and can do, is really accelerate the scoring as he goes on.
Yes, we've seen that. The one thing that Dom Sibley will have to look at, I mean, if you look there, he's still got 4 slips, still got 4 catches, because the bowling side feel that he's not going to get on top of them.
Holder bowls to Sibley. Sibley lets that go. This is good bowling from Holder.
Yeah, so
in the channel.
Yeah, so sometimes once you get into your work and you want them slips to go out in sort of defensive positions, don't you? You've got the 50 or 60, and there's still 4 slips around there, and then you do manage to get a bit of a nick that goes to fourth slip, which would have gone down at third man.
Yeah.
There's the fourth slip there, catch it.
Yeah. That was a lovely delivery from Boyle there. It went a long way.
He's in real rhythm,
This is
isn't he?
testing bowling. He's been in for a while, Dom Sibney, 183 balls, but it's testing out there. And Holder looking to make another breakthrough. Bowls to Sibley. Not like that. It's a big shout for LBW, but surely down the leg side. Sibley off the pad down towards short fine leg. There's no support from behind for the captain there. Wicketkeeper or slips. No one was interested. There's no run. It's the end of the over. 130 for 3. Down in Surrey. England have plenty of players that can take the game away with a quick knock. What they lack is a steady presence at one end. Dom the Wall Sibley. That nickname is currently going spare right now.
I quite like the bus.
Dom the Bus.
Yeah, Dom the Bus. Well, what did Marine?
Park the Bus.
Park the Bus, yeah. Dom the Bus. I can't even say it. But Bus and Sibley is quite tricky to say. Dom the Bus Sibley. What other ones are good? The Wall, the Rock,
The Limpet.
Barnacle, Mussel, Oyster, Shellfish. But the Wall is good, but that of course used to be Dravid. You've got to be... He needs a couple of years more before he starts nicking Dravid's nickname, I think.
Yeah.
He was a slightly more elegant Wall than Sibley, I think, as well.
Perhaps sort of like Baroque. Renaissance, a nice Renaissance Wall. Yeah.
Chase is ready to bowl a new over. The two bats are having a long conversation in the middle of the pitch.
A bit more breeze block, perhaps. Dom. But he's doing a grand job. He's doing a
But
grand
you
job
need
for his
breeze.
side.
You need.
Of course you do.
I can't say that myself. Breeze blocks.
Shot.
Stokes goes to the sweep, swats it into the leg side. It's going out towards the boundary. It will not go for 4. It stops out in the deep. And Stokes has to settle for 2 runs for a wipe into the leg side. Slog sweep.
Must have got the toe end of it or something, because when he hits a shot like that, Ben Stokes, it usually goes for 4. Must have got a Q end. Oh no, top edge. Yep, top edge. Catchable, that's for sure.
132 for 3. Stokes to 27 with those 2 runs. 50 partnerships up as well. Chase bowls to Stokes. Stokes dead bats that past the bowler, and they're looking for 2 up towards long on. And are they going to pinch it? Yes, they are, because it's Shannon Gabriel. That was torture there. They just persecuted poor Shannon, who was off the field earlier with a slight problem, and he was fielding it long on. It was a sort of block shot by Stokes into a gap, into the mid-on gap. So it was dropped short of Gabriel, and they realised there that the possibility of 2, and they're both alive to it. So Stokes is back on strike on 29, and he lets that one drift by outside the off stump from Roston Chase.
Yeah, trying to inject a bit of impetus, isn't he, Ben Stokes? Realise that just getting themselves in a position where they can perhaps dictate.
Chase to Stokes. Stokes is forward, playing that nicely with the bat out in the front of the pad. Saw Burns LBW earlier, just misjudged one from Chase. I think it did just straighten a bit, just a fraction, but essentially he played outside a straightish ball. 134 for 3. Here goes Chase, and Stokes smashes him into the leg side. Now that has gone for 4. He hammered that.
Slog sweep. Beautiful, nice and low, wasn't he? Got to be a bit careful playing the crossbat shot on a bouncy Old Trafford pitch to a spin bowler, but great step towards it, wasn't he? Got that right out the meat of the bat. Got low, watched it all away and hit it sort of over mid-wicket, really.
And there are 3 members of the ground staff out there, and none of them are picking up the ball and sending it back, because they probably can't. They're probably not allowed to.
No, of course not.
So is it John Campbell there? Is it deep back of square leg? Has to jog over, go behind the advertising boards, and then a bit further back
with his dodgy toe
and go and collect it. I saw in that one-day international that was played between Australia and New Zealand at the SCG, the last game before lockdown, Aaron Finch smacked one into the seats at the SCG. Here's Chase bowling. Stokes clips other way. Might get 2 here as well towards deep forward square leg. Sibley comes back for the second. Stokes sends him back just as well.
Dropped his bat.
There's only a single. It also means Stokes takes the bowling. So Stokes in that over has moved breezily on to 34, and England to 139 for 3. Yeah, Finch smacked one into the seats of the SCG, and poor old Lockie Ferguson had to sort of going over the advertising boards,
Under
up
the cover.
up the stand, and then he was sort of bending over, looking under the seat, trying to find the ball. This is a bloke with playing the World Cup final. It just seemed incongruous, really, because no one was there, basically. No one to throw it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
139 for 3 at the end of the over.
Well, I said that to Graham Gooch, actually. On my first tour, it didn't go down particularly well. He knocked on my door just after we'd arrived. And he said, right, boys, we were all a bit jet lagged and a bit tired. He said, right, we're going for a 5-mile run. Like that. And I said to him, well, why is that, skipper? Someone always throws the ball back. But not now, they don't.
No. Holder round the wicket to bowl to Stokes. Stokes lets that go. As much on length as line. It's quite close to off stump.
The worst that's ever happened to me was at Grenada, where Desmond Haynes slog swept me onto the runway, and the ball was last seen sort of going down the runway, bouncing merrily down the runway.
Are you sure you haven't just made that up?
No, I haven't. No, but listen, watch it. It's the true story, because the runway was right behind, like on sort of like deep mid-on to sort of slog sweep. Yeah, he hit me. There were only little stands in Grenada. He hit me onto the runway, so that one was abandoned, because we did wait for it, but I wasn't going to go and get it.
Holder bowling a fine spell here. Bowl to Stokes outside the off stump. Stokes lets it go. We're not seeing Stokes get across to Holder today as he did at Southampton.
Yeah. I think he was a little bit of an architect of his own downfall there. He was getting so far across and trying to play it so square to leg side, and that with that extra bounce that Holder gets, it kind of brought in the outside edge, didn't it?
Holder's getting the ball to move around. So it's tough batting out there for Stokes and Sibley. 2 slips in the gully, 3 saving, 1 on the offside, 2 on the on, and a fine leg. Holder bowls to Stokes. That's down the leg side. Did you get something on that? Well, it's beaten the keeper. Got one hand to it. It's gone down fine to Joseph, who rushes in and sends in the return, and they're through for 2 leg byes. Yeah. My initial reaction was leg off the pad, but there was an interest out there from the West Indies close fielders, so I wondered whether there was a bit of bat in that as well.
It looked good, didn't it, from there?
Might not quite have carried to Dowrich, seeing the replay as well, on the half volley. 2 more to the total. 139 for 3. These two came together at 81 when Root was caught at second slip by Holder off Joseph.
You can see a distinct gear change in Ben Stokes now. He looked just to be a little bit more proactive, isn't he?
Yeah. Here goes Holder to bowl to Stokes. Stokes lets that one go. This is a testing spell from Holder. Stokes is prepared just to sit in, which, our emailer who talked about us highlighting Sibley and not Stokes scoring at a similar rate. I mean, the thing is, he has got those gears, and we know that he's capable of using them as well.
Yeah.
Sibley's doing the job, as you say, Toppers, that he was being picked to do, really.
Yeah.
56 off 184 balls.
Could call him the anchor.
And here is Holder bowling. Full. Stokes is forward, playing defensively, and there's no run.
And plus, I mean, it's good conditions to bowl in. You can't just go out there willy-nilly, can you? You'll lose your wicket. As you say, Jason Holder's looked in great rhythm and bowled that attacking line on an outside off stump, and a bit of swing and a bit of seam movement as well. Difficult to try and put your toe down and impose yourself.
He's in his 13th over. He's coming to the end of it now. He's taken no wicket for 29.
There you go. Good bowling.
141 for 3. Holder bowls, takes inside edge onto the pad. The ball rolls away into the offside, and there is no run. End of the over. 59 have gone by. Not been easy for England. Lights on all day, overcast. Austin is winning the toss. There's been a little bit of spin for Austin Chase. That what people call first day spin, which
bounce as well.
Yeah, which all spin bowlers love, of course.
Yeah. Well, it gives you such a margin for length. Because if you're just short, if anything, an off spinner to a right hander, if you're just short there with a short leg and a leg slip, it's almost an attacking delivery, because you just naturally go back, wait for the ball and just knock it round there, and there's people there to catch it. So it puts you in 2 minds. You just can't get that release shot off your legs or off your hip. but he's managed to get rid of that now, because there's no leg slip there, so that's 1 up to the batter.
Chase is going to continue. He's taken 2 for 42 from his 13 overs.
Seems a lot of people on the leg side.
Yeah, well, that's what he's orchestrating his leg side field at the moment to Dom Sibley, and he is going to bowl. It looks to me
7-2.
a 7-2 onside field.
Yeah. Really packed the onside.
Yeah. We've got 3 mid wickets and a deep mid wicket.
If you've got a reverse sweep in the locker, now is the time to play it.
Yeah, I don't see fields like this very often.
No.
So here is Chase bowling to Sibley. Sibley turns it past short leg to catch it. I'm not sure it was in the air past Hope at short leg, but anyway, it went quickly out towards a forward square leg, shall we call them. There's a forward square leg, a mid wicket, and then a straight mid wicket, and a deep mid wicket. Chase bowls reverse sweep, and it balloons in the air off the pad to short leg.
No, that's all right. They just got to get a couple in the middle of the bat here, and they'll have to change the field. But then that is the risk if you haven't got it in the locker, because that looks slightly awkward. That's nearly bowled him leg stump. Yeah, you've got to be careful. You know, you've got to manipulate the field, but don't lose your wicket doing it.
It actually came off the keeper's pad rather than Sibley's pad on the sweep. It's outside the off stump. Sibley tries to manoeuvre it into a gap on the offside, but hits it straight to Shannon Gabriel at mid-off, and that really would have been cheeky if they take the single there to Gabriel.
What would you do here, Simon? Would you risk another reverse sweep to try and move one of those leg side fielders? Or would you just keep plugging away?
Here goes Chase bowling to Sibley, who does find the gap at mid-wicket. He's threaded it through towards deep mid-wicket for a single. Nicely struck. Oh, I think you go over long on, don't you?
No, there was a long one back for him.
Well, he's coming back now, but he was sort of deepish mid. I think, yeah, he'd do what hit him over long on.
You reckon? But skip down.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted just to get a little reverse on it. You have 2 shots, I like that. You get 2 or 3 runs, and then the field is changed.
142 for 3 with that single to Sibley. He's on 87. Now they have put a man in at cow corner for Ben Stokes, trying to cut off that slog sweep option. Chase round the wicket to Stokes. Stokes gets a slow turning delivery wide of off stump. He allows it to go through.
Don't mind that, actually, because that's just enabled then Ben Stokes to kind of push one through the offside, but then as the off spinner you won't mind that, because that will bring in the outside edge, you know. I quite like this field to Ben Stokes.
Chase bowls. Stokes is back defending, dropping the ball at his feet. Dowrich comes from behind the stumps to pick up, and there is no run. That's the end of the over. 142 for 3.
Nothing better than sometimes leaving a great big juicy gap, you know, for a batsman. Just say, go on, just you know you want to just bump one there for 2, don't you? You know, like a nice sort of extra cover drive, and then one turns, you go for the drive, caught slip, you know. So a little bit of cat and mouse with the spinner and the batsman.
Yeah, well, it's interesting cricket. You don't, say a 7-2 onside field for Sibley. You don't see that very often. It's nice to see something different and to see the batsman set a different challenge.
But it only takes usually. I mean, how many slog sweeps has Ben Stokes done?
2.
2.
Yeah.
So it takes you 2 to get a field change usually. And as I was saying, if you do play those cross-bat shots on a bouncy pitch, that third time he goes for that shot could go straight up in the air and be caught sweeping. So, you know, these are the things always going through captains and bowlers' mind.
New over from Jason Holder to Sibley with 4 slips in. Holder bowls. Sibley gets one on the middle stump, which he clips into the onside.
He'll be disappointed there.
They missed out there.
Yeah, he did.
Too close to mid-wicket. Roach to his left. Didn't have far to go.
Yeah, that's his
You
shot.
feel that's his area, don't you? You get one there, bang, 4.
Yeah.
But not there.
No,
Wasn't
just
able to.
missed,
And there's only one fielder saving one on the onside. Correction, 2. There's a mid-on, but he's talking to Holder at the moment.
It's a patience game with Dom Sibley, isn't it? He must have a great focus and great patience.
Holder bowls to him. He's struck on the pad there. There's no shout for LBW from Holder. It'll be too high. Score stays at 142 for 3.
Looking at the Holder-Stokes head-to-head in Southampton, Holder got Stokes out twice in 32 balls for just 6 runs. So far today, 3 runs from 22 balls. But before this series, Stokes had the upper hand, 83 runs from 157, and Holder had never got him out before that Southampton test in 11 innings. It's an interesting contest.
Stokes leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end, and Holder's making a field change here. He wants a slip out. He's putting a Roach back to deep forward square leg.
See if he's going to have a hook.
No, he's taking Campbell out from slip to mid-wicket, so we're down to 2 slips and a gully from 4 slips.
Might see a few bumpers there.
Here goes Holder into bowl to Sibley. Normal service resumed. The ball outside the off stump, just moving away a fraction. Nothing from Sibley. Comes down the pitch to do some gardening. He's into the 190s now in terms of balls faced for his 57. Still overcast at Old Trafford. The lights on. Quiet scene. But intense Test cricket going on out there. England battling to get themselves back in the series. Here goes Holder. Past the umpire now, up to the stumps, bowls to Sibley, stands up in defence, plays him back to the bowler, who goes away to his right hand side and picks up. I wonder what it's like for the West Indies attack to be bowling to someone like Dom Sibley, who's not doing lots of damage in one sense. What he is doing is drawing a lot of energy from the bowlers. He's not rattling the board along. He's holding West Indies up, frustrating them. Foil for other players and those to come. What it's like for them to have to bowl to him. Here goes Holder rushing in to bowl to Sibley. Sibley puts the bat there and defends into the onside. The ball stops before it goes out to Campbell at mid-wicket, and there's no run. Tuffers has gone. Carlos Brathwaite is here. What do you think it's like bowling to Sibley for these West Indies quick bowlers?
It's been cracking Test match stuff, Simon. Can't take my eyes off of it. Sibley's defending the ball to cover, to the bowler, to short leg. It's amazing stuff. He's got his angles worked out. Riveting. No, it's underestimated.
I sense the frustration in your voice there, Carlos. Holder to Sibley. Sibley's struck on the thigh pad there, I think. That might have been an inside edge. We'll wait and see. It rolls into the leg side, backward a square. No, that is a leg bye, signalled by umpire Goff. So that is the end of the over. 143 for 3. We can have a double change. Carlos has just joined us, and Isha Guha will be here very soon.
It has...
Well, no, do finish, Carlos.
No. You go on, Andy. All yours. Take it away.
Just looking at the way Sibley bats through his innings, and really it is all about crease occupation. Generally, he tends not to accelerate. Looking at his scoring rates in the 30-ball phase of his innings, in the first 30 balls face, he goes at 1.7 per over. The next 30 balls, just over 2 and over, and then he steadies. He's sort of steady from then on at 2.4 per over from balls 60 to 89, 2.3 per over from balls 90 to 119, then 2.4 again over the next 30 balls of innings, 2.3 from balls 150 to 179. So once he's in, there's no real change in the way he bats. There's his function in the team is purely to occupy and grind down the opposition, which he's doing extremely successfully. As we were pointing out earlier on, he has been over the last in Test cricket over the last 2 years in the top 3 toughest batsmen to dismiss. Welcome, Isha.
Hi, Andy. Who were you talking about then? Sorry, I just rushed in.
Sibley.
As he now crouches down to chase, and he whips that to mid-wicket, no run. Second youngest cricketer to score a double century in the county championship at the age of 18 after W.G. Grace. Dom Sibley. Open stance as Chase bowls, whips it to Short Fine, who's diving to stop it, no run. Worked a lot on his technique. We were just talking about it over on TV about how he was getting found out a lot with the ball just around the off stump. That bat turning to the leg side as Chase bowls again, and the reverse sweep comes out again, but it goes past the pad and down to fine leg. I think he might have clipped it on the way. We'll find out if it's leg byes or not as they come back for 3. Yeah, leg byes. So trying something different here, Dom Sibley. I've just been with Alistair Cook and he said he needs to put that shot away. 146 for 3 are England.
Yeah, it's not what you pay to see, but I've been in the dressing room with Craig Brathwaite, and as soon as the toss lands and Barbados is batting first, everyone from 8 to 11 goes in the gym, goes and hold asleep, because these type of players are very important for Stokes, for Butler. So yes, we may make fun of them, but they're very, very important.
Stokes defends the ball from Chase around the wicket. He's got 3 men back on the deep back with square, deep mid-wicket and long on for Stokes as holder. Shea Hope with his hands in his pockets at mid-wicket as Chase retrieves the ball, ready to go again. Here he comes now, up and over through his action. Stokes pushes to the offside, no run. And this has been enforced by a couple of shots from Stokes in that last over, showing a bit more intent. The slog sweep coming out. He's retreated his field very quickly, Jason Holder, as Chase bowls a reverse sweep, and that is well connected by Stokes. It'll go down to the long leg boundary, beats point on the way. And an excellent shot. We all remember that reverse sweep 6 off Nathan Lyon in the Ashes in that famous test match at Headingley. And this one he keeps all along the ground, just changes his grip on his handle, comes forwards, lunges forwards and gets head right over the ball. Roston Chase looks in disbelief as we look at the replay. The score then 150 now for England, 3 down, Stokes to 38 and Sibley on 57 at the end of the over. Do you play the reverse sweep much? You're more long levers and down the ground, aren't you?
Too much, probably. If my dad sees that, he will not be happy.
You've been learning off Sam Billings.
I've played a dink once, and he was watching the game, and he brought the car back for me, got out the driver's seat, went into the passenger seat, didn't speak the drive from cricket to the hotel, then just got back out, and that was it. He didn't speak to me for like a week. But it is necessary, especially in Sibley's position. He's batting well, he's doing his job, but the last thing he wants to do is to put pressure on Stokes by not rotating the strike and just batting 6 balls and no momentum into the innings. Stokes likes to get the ball in the outfield, run quick singles and twos.
Azhari Joseph back into the attack. Sibley leaves a really wide one outside the off stump. Dowrich diving to his right to take the ball. He's been pretty good behind the stumps today, Dowrich. Been quite tricky for him. Balls flying everywhere at the start of play. Struggling to get their radar, the West Indies. Bit of movement in the air. Then after it went past the stumps as well. 2 slips and a gully then for Joseph as Sibley sets up once more. Very open stance. As Joseph pushes away, running towards us from the James Anderson end, past the umpire. Sibley drives, guides it past that gully as the chase is on, down to the 3rd man boundary. They'll push for 2 and should come back for 3. And the score now 153 for 3. Stokes on 38 and will receive the next delivery. Sibley to 60. I mentioned we've been talking about Sibley on TV. You'll be able to see the analysis of his technique on Today at the Test on BBC 2 tonight from 7 p.m. and available to watch at your leisure on BBC iPlayer. We talked a lot about how open he is now. He got found out against the Kiwis in that series over there. That bat just playing it towards the onside almost, outside the off stump, getting snicked off. And he worked with Gary Palmer, who is a batting coach that has worked with Alistair Cook quite a bit. Just trying to make him a bit more open and access the ball and play a bit straighter. As Stokes is on strike now. He's batting on leg stump as he moves across now to Joseph and defends the ball to mid-off.
Yeah, as a fellow professional, like, I would appreciate having to make changes and for him to want to do it, work to do it, and then for it to work, because he's gone back-to-back Test 50s. I mean, we always talk about how it looks, but really and truly is a lot deeper than just how it looks, what goes into making him him. As I say, for me, the Rory Burns thing, seeing it on the Player Zone, I was just like, wow. I always ask myself, why does it look so uncomfortable when Rory Burns sets up? And he answered, left eye dominant, need to get your left eye there. So it's funny how all these quirks play a part.
Stokes drives forcefully to mid-on, no run. It's like a gunshot when he hits it, isn't it, Ben Stokes? It's the way he punches through the ball. Slightly fuller delivery from Joseph. We saw he was getting some shape on the ball back into the left-hander when he first got to the middle. Not pronounced moving on that occasion. Have you ever seen George Bailey bat?
Whoa. Yeah, there need to be a lot of explanation for that.
As Ben Stokes is backing across again, working it to mid-wicket. Now, if you're listening to this, you really do have to go on YouTube and just find the evidence of George Bailey batting. He's just turned further and further around as his career has gone on, from side on to
Bum on.
to literally bum on. He's actually 180 now. That must be so off-putting for the bowler as he's running into bowl, because all you can see is his backside as Stokes defends to the leg side. But his head is like swiveled around so he can kind of see the bowler running in.
He's probably left eye dominant as well.
153 for 3 at the end of the over. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, digital radio, online and via the BBC Sounds app. But radio for long-wave listeners are leaving us briefly for the shipping forecast.
Adam, can we get a recording of the shipping forecast? I always feel really left out when I hear that the long-wave listeners are leaving, and I don't get a chance to hear it as well. I feel like I'm missing out.
We need to make that happen, don't we, Adam? As the players now take drinks. West Indian players are milling around just beneath us at the Brian Statham end. And Ben Stokes and Dom Sibley taking a drink at the moment. Ben Stokes revealing his mop of hair with the headband. And just be conversations around how they're going about this. Presumably, the intent has been shown in the last 3 or 4 overs, just starting to rotate a bit more, looking to work the ball around and pick off the boundaries. And Jason Holder's got some thinking to do. Shannon Gabriel injured. He's going to need others to put their hand up.
But Jace isn't even on the field. I can see Nkrumah Bonner on the field. I don't see the towering figure Jace, so Craig is probably leading the team. Not sure why he's off.
From Adam, there is a version of the shipping forecast which has been set to calming music to help people sleep. It is on BBC Sounds. Is that right? Usually it's my voice putting people to sleep.
But I've learned a new word, dulcet.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah, I've been told my voice has dulcet tones. That's a good thing, Isha? A bad thing?
It's a good thing. I like dulcet tones.
I need to find some way to
You've
put
got a
that
good
into my
voice.
social media handles and stuff. Ricky.26 and in brackets. You know how the Instagram models have public figure and...
I don't follow any Instagram models.
Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah.
I hope my wife is not listening, but I do. I need to put dulcet tones or something, like just make everyone know.
Yeah, there's so many different voices on the game of cricket, and it's always good to listen to the dulcet tones of so many of them as the players just having a little break here at Old Trafford. Still grey skies above, lights are on. It has been these conditions all day long, really, for all of the players. Many of the West Indies cricketers wearing jumpers because it is cool out there.
Almost. Almost. We
What could have
almost
been.
caught them. Yeah, we almost caught them.
We're welcoming back our Radio 4 long wave listeners now after the shipping forecast.
Welcome back, Des.
Carlos wants to know how it went.
We envy you.
Let's hope for some terrific form from North at 0 today. Looking at West Indies spinners in series against England. 4 wickets of Roston Chase already this series, which is more wickets than West Indian spinners took in 3 series successively combined. 1976 in England, 1980 in England, and then early in 1981 in West Indies. 3 wickets by spinners for West Indies in those 14 tests in the era of their great pace attack.
Wow.
So already more wickets in the first 1 and a bit matches of this series. Dull set, also something that's been said to me at the end of some of my stand-up gigs.
You need to turn that around. And when you're telling everyone how it went, just say they were pleased with your dulcet tones. That's what it was. Your dulcet tones, Andy. So, play will be resumed here. England 153 for 3. The West Indies asking England to bat at the start of the day. Overhead conditions for Jason Holder. They didn't make the most of the early exchanges. The ball spraying around everywhere, really. And then they honed their radar a little bit more, and Roston Chase, who is bowling now, will come through wide of the off stump to Sibley, who's backing across and cutting down to the third man boundary. He'll push for 1 and should get 3 here as they come back for 2. The throw comes in as Ben Stokes, running to the danger end, will come through comfortably. Jermaine Blackwood with the throw. And the score moves to 156 for 3 into the 64th over here. It was Roston Chase with the breakthrough. Rory Burns going just before the lunch break for 15. Then the very first ball after lunch, Zach Crawley out for naught, turning a ball from Chase around the corner to the captain, Jason Holder. Here comes Roston Chase once more, just a slip in play for Stokes. Field spread as he pushes to mid-wicket. There are plenty of men behind that mid-wicket player. Deep backwards square, deep mid-wicket, long on. As deep cover comes up into the circle now. The man down at long off as well. And Roston Chase just signalling for him to return to the boundary. It's probably about 30 metres off it, actually, is Chase around the wicket to Stokes on the back foot. Punches to long on for a single. And goes to 40. 39, in fact, 157 for 3.
You almost get the feeling that this West Indies team prefers a Ben Stokes or Butler type player, or Joe Root type player that wants to get after the bowling, rather than a Sibley or a Burns that they have to make the running and try to get them out.
Sibley smothers the ball outside the off stump. It ends up squirting out to short fine off the inside edge. It's an interesting one now, isn't it? Jos Buttler under a bit of pressure for his place. You know, the ideal scenario for him, I know Ollie Pope is to come next, but want to lay a platform for him so that, you know, he can get into his work, but then also be able to accelerate towards the end in terms of building the innings.
And depends on what situation of the game it is. You find all of a sudden there's 2 slips instead of 3 slips in a gully. There's not as much pressure. Bowling attack might be slightly more defensive. Things can work into his favour. It may be luck he needs.
Sibley clips it to mid-wicket, diving to his right, no run. Along the wicket there is Shea Hope, as Chase is through his action. Sibley on the back foot, loads of space on the offside that he's able to push through as they'll sprint for 2. Coming back Sibley, and manages to get in comfortably with Shannon Gabriel throwing the ball in. He looks like he's labouring there, Shannon Gabriel. 159 for 3. Sibley to 65 at the end of the over. A few more thoughts from you, Carlos, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
Interesting to see how much over Shannon can get through. He's been off for a while. Jace is charging back on now. Hopefully he's fully fit. Craig is going off. I wonder what happened between Southampton and Manchester. Everyone seems a bit under the weather, literally and figuratively. And yeah, everybody just looks that much more stiff. But yeah, Jason is on, Craig is off, and Alzari is waiting to push off. And
well, they worked hard in Southampton, didn't they? We talked about the
Yeah,
lack
they
of
did.
cricket, and as, you know, people are going to be stiff and sore, aren't they? I mean, it's one thing to bowl in the nets and have the practice game, but to suddenly give your all in a test match, and poor old Shannon Gabriel there, you feel his hamstrings about to snap every time he bends down, but he's back on the field at least at mid-on. And we've got Joseph on his way, he bowls to Stokes, who pulls him into the leg side, doesn't time that at all. And the ball runs out to mid-wicket, and there's no run. And Holder's now directing his troops around, he's sending out a man to deep square leg. And Holder's got at least one long sleeve sweater on now. It's been one of those days, it's been a grey day. And the cricket's been rather uninspiring too, to be honest. It's not been an exciting day to watch. In the weather and the delayed start and all of that, I'm sure, had something to do with that. Stokes over his bat again. Waits as Joseph moves in smoothly, bowls to him. He creeps forward. Now Shannon Gabriel's going to bend down there. Oh, down he goes one-handed, and now stands on it. He's touching his toes. He's crouching. Poor old Shannon. Anyone who's bowled fast and spent a day and a bit in the field and given everything, as he did at the GS, knows exactly how he feels.
Aggers, I tell you what though, at 8:15 tonight, Man United will close out the day the way we all thought it would have started. Some enterprising, exciting
Will they?
football.
Okay.
And they'll beat Crystal Palace 3-1.
Oh, right. Okay, where did that come from? Here's Joseph. That's turned away out to mid-wicket. And there's no run. You're a Manchester United man, are you?
Yeah.
Well, look, you can see the stadium.
You can just see it pointing over the top of the building
Just
there.
the tiniest bit from the pavilion there. We've had quite a few Manchester United footballers actually in here.
Have you?
But my interview, the one I always want to do, the one that got away, is Sir Alex Ferguson. If you're listening, Sir Alex, and I'm sure you are, at 6 o'clock on a Thursday evening, here's Joseph bowling short, swatted away by Stokes, down to deep square leg. That's the one view from the boundary guess I'd love to. He's an extraordinary man, but we had quite a few of their players on.
So you give me some names.
Who have we had? The Nevilles, both Nevilles.
I stayed at their hotel football, I think. Or
Oh, yes.
football. It's hotel football, yeah.
During the World Cup.
Lovely. No, it was not. I think earlier last year, but it was nice. Nice view of Old Trafford. You wake up on match day, and I think it was a 12 o'clock kickoff, and you see everyone building, and yeah, it was good. Good hospitality as well.
Oh, well, that's the most important thing. But, no, they've got something. And the Neville brothers are both serious cricketers.
So I heard, and that's why I sent out a little tweet and see if I got some special treatment. It was appreciated.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, that's nice. 3 slips. Gully is fine, and Joseph's on his way. Bowls to Sibley, who works it away slightly crookedly out towards mid wicket. Diving save there, but they've run the single. Bobby Charlton. I know.
Legend.
Well, that was nice because Bobby Charlton. I remember my dad had bumped into Bobby Charlton because my dad was from this part of the world. Somewhere in a restaurant or something years ago when I was a kid, and he came back with Bobby Charlton's autograph. There you go. And I lost it. So when I interviewed Bobby Charlton here, I got him to sign my workbook for the autograph that I'd lost and got away. Oh, he was a lovely fella. What a nice chap. We got the fella that does the dandruff shampoo. Looking at Adam, he's looking blankly at me. It's Joseph bowling. That's clipped away firmly down the ground to mid-on. Who does the dandruff shampoo advert? Joe Hart. Manchester City.
Oh, come
so that's
on,
close.
Abbas,
Well, no,
come
I'm.
on, come on.
Oh dear. Well, it's kind of. No, like I said, it's nothing like the same. Anyway, we had him on as well. Nobby Stiles. He's been on. He's one of the classic views from the boundary you can find on BBC Sounds. But it's nice when other sports link, isn't it? And
Yeah, and it's strange
talk
to
to
hear some stories from other people, some who know about the game, some who don't know about the game. Just hear how they tie it up with their sport, and
Yeah.
for me, training and that sort of stuff, how other teams and other professionals cross train. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this could be interesting in that Shannon Gabriel's back again. He's still touching his toes, poor chap. He's trying to loosen up. He's stripped off his long sleeve sweater. And how many spells has he bowled today, Andy?
Just 2-3 with the new ball, none for 7, and then 4 overs
Right.
after that.
He bowled a proper wide in that first. It went for 5, missed the sight screen at the far end. So that was one of the more exciting things that happened today, I suppose. He's going to bowl to Sibley. There's 2 slips and a gully, and he's roaring in now with shadows at his feet from the floodlights. It starts with a really good ball. At full length that he bowls, it moved away a little bit, and Sibley groped and missed. And that's his 205th ball to reach his 66 not out. He's been like a limpet. He gave a difficult chance to short leg when he was in the 40s. Clipped it hard to the man, and he never really got a hand on it, but it was one of those where you sort of fumble around with your forearms trying to keep hold of the ball, which just dropped to the ground.
Yeah, that one had to stick for sure. There wouldn't be any skill there. Bit of luck.
Gabriel pauses for a moment, and he runs again. Heavy-footed, bowls on middle and leg. That's Sibley's territory. Clips the ball away out towards deep square leg. Back they come for the second, as I feel like they just lose this footing ever so slightly on this very lush green outfield. And of course the fact that there's been no cricket on these grounds is you can see from the squares, the playing areas and the outfields and so on, they're all in very good condition. On this time of year they've been much more worn, grass missing from the playing area and so on. Gabriel's waiting for the ball. He's looking at his boots as if he's perhaps carrying a bit of damp with him onto the bowling crease. It can happen. Just makes you slip a bit when you let go of the ball. Sibley on 68. He's hit 3 fours from 206 balls, and this next one is pitched very full indeed. He plays it towards mid-on. Joseph picks it up. Every sound from the middle you can hear echoing around Old Trafford, where I'm looking around and I can see maybe, this won't be an exaggeration, but 10 people, maybe 15. There's 3 of the ground staff out there sitting and watching from the distance, but otherwise just a few cameramen, 1 or 2 photographers, and that's it. Thousands of upturned grey plastic seats. Gabriel past the umpire bowls to Sibley. He's edged it. Oh, he's dropped. Dropped at second slip by the captain. It went quickly. It was a very full ball, but it was very, very catchable. And Holder's normally, well, he's normally spot on at second slip. It did go quickly, but oh dear, he hardly got a hand on it. I mean, it thudded straight into his stomach.
Disappointing. That is very catchable. Aggers, probably easier to catch than to drop it.
It did seem to go quickly, but that's really all that you can say about it. It went in absolutely the height that a slip catcher would want.
He'll get some stick in our WhatsApp group this evening, I'm sure.
Well, he's got to put that away, and Gabriel has 2. This one's outside the off stump. Sibley this time withdraws the bat. So Sibley dropped on 68. Little note, I'm afraid.
It must be so deflating to bowl.
Just look at the bat. Look at the angle his bat came through. I mean, that was 2 feet outside the off stump, and yet the bat was turned towards mid wicket.
Yeah.
Funny shot. I mean, it really was. It was very crooked indeed, which is why it found the edge.
The big fella needs to create another opportunity.
Well, Gabriel again, long strides, runs in straight, bowls to Sibley, that same length. This time Sibley, though, plays it straighter with a more correct face of the bat, and the ball runs out to point.
There was a ball early and he got his half volley-ish and he just jammed down on it as though it were York, and I remember Michael Vaughan saying, come on, put that away. And it's similar, as soon as the ball is wide and swinging away, it's almost as though he's trying to cover it as opposed to just getting it back through the ball.
Sort of smother it almost.
Yeah. Created the chance, didn't take it.
Absolutely. Holder's got his arms folded there. He'll be cursing. Big moment for him. I mean, the West Indies haven't won a series here for 32 years. They're 1-0 up. Gabriel's on the way again and bowls Sibley's forward, wanting to steal a single, which you'll get to as Joseph. They're just hanging back a little bit at mid-on. So a single stolen off the last ball of the over, and Gabriel's walking towards his captain, who's jogging up past him. Nope, nothing is said. It's often the case, isn't it? Just eyes down and keep going. But what do you say to a bowler when you drop a catch? There's not much you can say, really. You don't do it on purpose. That's the only thing that you can.
The best I've had. First game for my new club, straight out of secondary school, and Sherwin Campbell was at second slip, creeping up. I had the new ball, beautiful out swinger, Nick straight to Sherwin Campbell, straight in, straight out. He took it up, chapped it back at me. Do it again, son. Prove your worth your salt. I was like, huh?
Well, that's not a bad way of getting on, is it? I dropped it on purpose just to see how good you are. In comes Joseph, and he bowls, and Sibley works into the leg side, runs out to mid-wicket, who's usually kept quite busy when Sibley's batting. And there's no run. Oh, well. Did you? No.
I can't remember. I was dumbfounded. I take drops really badly, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't need to do. It's nothing personal.
I throw the toys out the pram.
No, it's nothing personal.
Yeah, it isn't. But I mean, I don't get much wickets, Agger, so when I do create a chance, I like my reward.
Another slip coming in here now. So 3 slips a gully for Joseph, who bustles in. Pavilion behind him bowls, and Sibley gets the bottom of the bat. He plays it from the crease. And it's picked up there just about a yard away from him, that's all. And I know that my figures were hopelessly wrong, but I'm claiming that there's some duff information lurking around Andy. But, I mean, is Dominic Sibley approaching or in danger of threatening any sort of landmark in terms of innings speed at the moment? 69 from 213 balls, 3 fours. Is there anything about that that's starting to alert you yet? Here comes Joseph outside the off stump. He lets that one go through.
Not in terms of all-time records, but in terms of the way Test cricket has generally been played over the last 20 years. It's he is an unusually slow player, but as many people have pointed out, it's what England have been needing.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
No, I wasn't being critical. Just simply wondering if there's any sort of major stat on the horizon.
Not sure there's a major one. I'll dig around. I'll see what I can find.
No, absolutely. That's what we pay you to do. Here comes Joseph over the wicket, bowls down the leg side. Simply tries to flick it away and misses.
Am I being paid?
Well, I hope you are, Andy. You're worth your weight in gold. What they haven't done is try and attack his leg side weakness. I thought he might have done a bit more of that, actually, since then, be able to get him around the wicket, get the ball up into the armpit. Michael, maybe the big fella, Gabriel.
Yes, the drop catch.
I know.
A little glare at his captain, Jason Holder. I don't think they bowled him one bouncer.
No, I can't remember any. Joseph again bowls to him round about a length on the off stump. He just pats that away and says try again. But you thought maybe round the wicket and up here and a leg slip, and just to try a few, just something.
Well, I think they feel that they're in the game with this field, as they've had pretty much throughout the whole day to Dom Sibley, 4 slips, basically offering him that offside to try and score. On his unfavoured side, he's been offered quite a lot of juicy half volleys that he's not really taken. He just waits for that straight ball to work through the onside.
Joseph again bowls, and there it is. But it's a misfield. Bad misfield, that, because it was just clipped straight at him. And that's 2 blemishes, certainly by the West Indies of the last couple of overs. One, that drop catch from Holder, and that was just hit straight towards mid-wicket. And went through his legs, basically.
Yeah, I don't think they've been anywhere near on it like we saw a week ago in Southampton. There's been quite a lot of fumbles in the field today from the West Indies, and obviously that drop catch from Jason Holder. I think the bowling's been okay. I think they've managed to restrict England. Obviously the bowling against a player in Dom Sibley that just bats time, and just works his method, waits for that ball on his hip. I think Jason Holder will be disappointed with the intensity. I just don't think it's quite been, understandably, but these back-to-back games, we may have to get accustomed to this kind of day in the field from all the teams that are going to be playing this summer, but I don't think the West Indies have quite been at it like we saw a week ago.
I think it does show what match practice brings to your game, doesn't it? Just the fitness and durability and able to come back. 168 for 3 is the score, and Gabriel's rushing in and bowls on his toes there, and Sibby can work that away for a single to deep backward square leg and moves on by one more. He goes to 73 now.
Yeah, I mean, generally at Old Trafford you get a pitch that's bouncy, shiny. I don't think this is a traditional Old Trafford Test match cricket wicket. I think it's quite slow. I think it's no doubt over the course of the next few days we're going to see more and more in terms of spin. Not surprised if we get some reverse swing. Maybe not a great deal because of how lush the outfield is, but I think we'll just get a little bit of kind of reverse swing when the ball gets a bit older.
Stokes on strike, 2 slips and a gully for him. Ring of 3 in the offside and 2 in the leg. Still low cloud, and the brightness that appeared to be coming our way I think might just be slipping around the back actually. Gabriel runs in, bowls, and Stokes forward, drives that crisply down the ground to mid-on. He's on 40 now from 103 balls.
Yeah, you felt with Ben Stokes that he's just had a bit of middle practice. He's just gone, I'm just going to not take too many risks. He's played that lap slog. He kind of top edged. He went for a couple, then he played a real hard sweep against Roston Chase, but he's played straight so far. His foot movement has been excellent. I don't remember him playing and missing it too many, maybe 2 or 3. He's looked in good order. But he got in twice, didn't he, in the first Test match without going on. This is another chance for him to go on and get a big score.
Gabriel bowls. Whoa! That's gone straight to second slip. It's a Harmison. And Holder there was, first of all, I think horrified to see it coming at him at best part of 90 miles an hour. And then he caught it and is wringing his hands. That was officially a Harmison. And it was fired at the left-hander. It's gone straight to second slip. And a very surprised second slip, who gathered it cleanly, and he would rather wish he'd done that in the previous over. That was a remarkable delivery. And if Steve is listening, first of all, hello Steve, nice to talk to you.
That's not a wide.
It must have been a wide.
What's it called? Was it called a wide?
Went straight to second slip. Good Lord, in goes Gabriel again, and this is outside the off stump, but not nearly so wide as that previous one. That must have been a wide, wasn't it? Had to be.
Are you sure?
I think it was.
What's it called?
Well, it barely hit the moan part, and then he's still wringing his fingers there, Holder. I mean, it's
that's been the best part of the day.
It is. It's the shock of seeing it, and well, that brings back some old memories. It's rather nice. 14 years ago.
Yes, he's been a bit wayward today, hasn't he, Shannon?
Yes.
His first over of the day suggests that his body's probably not recovered from Southampton just yet.
No, it hasn't. Well, that was exciting. 169 for 3. Stokes on strike on 40. The big fella runs in again. He's there and he bowls to him. Stokes beautifully forward. Just plays the ball defensively. Joseph Fields at mid-off. Holder's still looking at his fingers.
But even to Ben Stokes, I mean, you go back to the first Test where Ben Stokes was dropped down at fine leg playing the pull shot. They've not challenged Ben Stokes with any short stuff.
No.
I know it's a slow wicket, but you've got to have it in you on day one of a Test match to just bowl a heavy ball into the sea, even if it goes miles over the batsman's head. You've got to have it in you as a bowling attack to at least challenge the batsman with the odd bouncer or two.
The lovely thing about the original Harmison was the way that actually Flintoff did take the catch at second slip. It was so nonchalant, he just took it and threw it on. Holder's made a bit more of a fuss about this.
Big Steve.
Yeah, well, there you go. Second slip. 170 for 3. Gabriel again with a deep square leg this time, so will he bowl the bouncer? No, it's very full and turned away for a single to long leg by Stokes. And there's one 1 ball to go in the over, unless Gabriel fires this one wide again. So he got England underway today with 5 wides.
Yeah, he did. Have you booked your table tonight, I guess?
Well, I have, but I think it's interesting in that the Ageas Bowl, we didn't have to book a table for dinner. The reason you have to here is that literally there are tables for one, and you eat by yourself. There are only a few, so you do have to actually book a time for dinner. So I think, well, I've taken the view, and I'm counting you in this, that between 7 and 8 is safe, because all you TV lovers are watching yourselves on the highlights. So us, with good faces for radio, could go in and have dinner. In goes Gabriel, bowls is very full, Sibley pushes into the offside, Stokes sets off, but there's no run there, so I've booked between that time. But I think,
is that what you have? Because I haven't booked yet. I'm a bit too late. How do I book?
Oh, well, I'll talk you through the system, Michael. Thoughts from you, and then Alison Mitchell's coming in here.
Well, the umpires are just having another word. It has got a little bit darker. Now they're going to carry on, which is good. Michael Goff and Richard Illingworth, the 2 umpires out in the middle this week. Michael Goff replacing Richard Cattleborough. I think he's the 3rd umpire this week. Is that correct? I think he's certainly here, so he's one of the 3rd or 4th umpires. Good afternoon, Ali.
Hello, Michael. Yes, he is 3rd umpire. And yes, you do need to go and pay reception a visit and book yourself a table for dinner.
Right, I will do.
I think I'm going to miss my slot, though.
It's more like being in a restaurant than at the Ageas, where you kind of went down a buffet line and someone served you food, whereas you got actually a few nice choices.
Yeah, the choice is very nice, isn't it? I think it is going to be there's going to be a certain rush, I think, around about the sort of 8 p.m. mark, I suspect, particularly with the late finishes here. Trials and tribulations of being in the bubble, hey. New over then, Alzari Joseph in now to Stokes, bowling full, and Stokes forward, punching into the onside. It does feel more gloomy all of a sudden, or at least the effect of the floodlights seems more noticeable. The 2 batsmen are coming together in the middle now, and actually still Alzari Joseph's having a bit of a problem with his follow-through. Michael Goff has now walked a few paces down in front of the stumps, that danger zone. Joseph will make sure that he doesn't run on the pitch and incur the wrath of the umpire. 171 for 3 it is. The partnership 90. 2 slips in the gully as Joseph is in now to Stokes, forward defensively up towards mid-off, and there's no run. Has Jason Holder stopped wringing his hands now? I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's just got over it. I think he'd be disappointed though with that drop catch. That was relatively, for someone like can catch like Jason, a relatively straightforward second slip catch. It does look to have got a little bit gloomier in the last few minutes.
Well, Holder gobbled them up, didn't he? Leg slip to dismiss Crawley and second slip to dismiss Root. As Joseph is in full, Stokes punch driving, only as far as mid-on though. And there is no run, finds Shannon Gabriel, who was the bowler when Sibley was dropped on 68. And you had to feel for him then, because you felt as if Gabriel, who hadn't bowled from what I think was the 30th over before he then came on for the 66th of the innings, and he'd had a spell of time off the field as well, and you felt he mustered all his energy and a body that looks like it's from this distance creaking somewhat because he hasn't been moving with much agility in the field, and then created a chance and then it didn't stick. Joseph under grey skies, Stokes on his toes, he fends it into the offside. Shout of no. Next point is there to field. 171 for 3 it stays. Burns the first man out today. LBW to Chase for 15. That was on the stroke of lunch. Chase followed up with a second wicket with his first ball after lunch. So 2 wickets and 2 balls either side of the break as Crawley was turned one around the corner straight to Holder at leg slip. Out for a first ball duck. That was 29 for 2. Then 81 for 3 after a 52-run stand between Sibley and Joe Root. Joseph took the wicket of Root and he's in now, and Stokes is blocking on off stump with a very straight bat. Back up the pitch to the onside, picked up and no run. And it's been a little grafting test match partnership, hasn't it, Michael? We talk about England needing to recover. 29 for 2, 81 for 3. Could have been 100 and not very many for 4 or 5. And okay, there has been 2 chances put down off the bat of Dominic Sibley, but they are still there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're building this first innings platform.
Joseph in, and Stokes forcing it off the back foot, taking a quick single. It's a tumbling stop by mid-off to his right-hand side, and they take one. And yeah, they have responded well. I recall one mix-up, and there was a run-out chance as well, wasn't there? Quite early on in this partnership between Stokes and Sibley. But otherwise they've taken some quite sharp singles, called well. 172 for 3 at the end of that over then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many would want to kind of pay lots of money for this kind of cricket in terms of the visual, but what it's doing for the England Test match team, 1-0 down in the series, is creating a great foundation. Right, there's 69 overs, they scored 172, but on a slow, kind of placid pitch, when you can see the footholds. I'm just looking at the footholds from Alzarri Joseph. I've just been looking at his follow-through, and already you can see that there are rough marks for Dom Bess to aim into. Now, when Sam Curran starts to bowl and Stuart Broad starts to bowl around the wicket, you can see that the footholds are already starting to become quite evident. And when the left armour starts to run, through the crease and create a few footholds for
Gabriel, and again to Stokes, pushed across the left-hander through to the keeper.
Yeah, create a few footholds for Dom Bess to aim into to the right-handers, which he didn't have in Southampton. I think batting first is, for me, in Test cricket is always a great way to win the Test, but I think the spinners always love it when your team bat first, because they know when the time they get the ball in hand, unless your team get bowled out for 150, there's always going to be a little bit of something there for the spinner to aim into. So really looking forward to seeing how Dominic Bess goes actually this week, because he will get the chance. I think England will get a decent score, and there will be some rough for him to aim into.
Shannon Gabriel with his forehead glistening with sweat, thundering in. Oh, it's a short ball, it's back of a length, but also pushed across Stokes and quite wide again, and the keeper gathering it, Darrich, this time across first slip, and Stokes shaped to play, and then the ball was angled so far across him that it was nowhere near him, and he wasn't going to be tempted to chase after it either.
Yeah, but at least they tried. I mean, that's the first real attempted bouncer that we've seen for a long time, if at all. You've got a square leg bat, fine leg on the boundary. It's always, if you know that Ben Stokes is going to take it on, he generally does. He's not a ducker and sway. He takes on the pull shot, the hook shot. Mm-hmm. So it's a big hit out to that leg side.
Gabriel at the end of his mark then. And he gives Stokes another attempt here. Bowling full that time, clipped along the ground, all the way along the grass. Been very well played by Stokes. It's a long boundary, but the ball gets there for 4. Moving Stokes on to 46, 177 for 3 England. One of the very few boundaries that there's been on this first day. But Gabriel mixing it up, the short ball and going full, but Stokes was quickly onto it to clip it through that leg side, and big gaping gaps, with a mid-off in place, and then deep square leg.
8 fours and 1 6 so far. This is the 70th over.
That was a glorious shot, terrific balance from Ben Stokes. His bat looks very wide. It's always a good sign as a batsman when your bat looks very wide.
43 and 46 in Southampton. He's on 46 now. Missing out on a half century in both innings in the first Test match. So here is Gabriel again. That's angled across him, and he did go for the pull shot this time. It thuds it into the ground and fielded it mid-on. Now he's sort of wringing his right hand, his bottom hand, because he had to really almost hit through the line of the ball with the angle, and he swatted it well in front of square for it to find mid-on. England were already all out this time in the first innings in Southampton. Innings there only lasted 67.3 overs. We're now into the 70th. And again, it's the fact 7 wickets in hand still, pushing the West Indies bowlers into multiple spells. There's a lot more work they've got to do here. Gabriel with a furrowed brow sets off. In now, bowls to Stokes down the leg side, and Stokes lets it go through to the keeper. No ball, he's overstepped. He's just not, he's been out of sorts, hasn't he? And in terms of the wides, the misdirection, no ball. But then he did create the chance, did create a wicket chance with the catch that went down.
Yeah, he has looked a little bit sore. Probably still sore from Southampton. I mean, he's had a couple of bursts that have been lively. But he's up against Ben Stokes, who's set 46 now. He's just played with so much ease.
Certainly get the sense that he doesn't want to let the chance of a half century and a big score go begging a third time. On 46 now, Gabriel Races in, bowls across him again, and it's almost reached second slip once more. And wide is signalled by umpire Richard Illingworth. Stokes looks over his left shoulder a little quizzically, and Gabriel looks down at his boots as he's walking back to his mark.
Sometimes very difficult as a batsman when a bowler's spraying it like this, because you're not too sure what to line up for. He's going to come round the wicket. He's had enough of that over the wicket stuff. He's spraying it all over the place.
We'll go back to finding a rhythm, and he hasn't really had any rhythm, has he? Stokes scraping away at the crease. I think even Jason Holder was surprised again seeing Dowrich sort of dive right across him, almost collided, almost dived straight into Jason Holder when he gathered the ball that time. He's got one hand on hip, breathing quite heavily as he waits to come into bowl again. So Stokes is ready. Floodlights on. It's been gloomy all day here. West Indies opted to bowl. They've only taken 3 wickets all day thus far. Stokes on 46. Around the wicket he goes, and the back foot to force it away through the covers, but finds a fielder. Again, that look. Stokes eager to take the single, keep the scoreboard moving. He's been freed up of the captaincy, hasn't he? Stokes now. How much difference do you think that will make for him as Stokes, the batsman? Do you reckon he was someone who...
I don't think it affected him at all. In the first game when he led, I thought he looked a natural. He actually took to captaincy far too easily in my eyes.
Watch out, Joe Root.
Should be a lot harder than he made it look.
Well, he stood by. He was very calm and zen-like about the decisions he took and the scrutiny that they inevitably come under. And that's down the leg side, angled around the wicket. Stokes gets some bat on it. It was mid-wicket. Oh, now he's stumbled in the turn for the second run, so there won't be a second run. Just watch he gets up here, and he hasn't sprained or twisted or hurt anything. He's up on his feet. It was just an awkward slip as he turned, and he set off really fast for the first run, wanting the second. He's on 47 now. Sibley 73 not out, and England 180 for 3 in their first innings here. It's been a grind, but Stokes has certainly played a few more attacking shots in the last half hour, 45 minutes. What do they do here then? 2 slips in the gully. Sibley 73.
West Indies, they'll just be looking at the overs into the 70th over, so the 10 overs to go to that second new ball. There's a group. There's a captain, Jason Hobbs, saying, can we nip out another couple before that second new ball?
Sibley awaits with that open crab-like stance of his. That's a good Yorker, but he's brought his bat down and dug it out. End of the over from Gabriel. England 180 for 3. Well, that's it. And the task for these two is, of course, to stay in for the next 10 overs so that they're well set when the new ball comes out, and they can take the shine off the ball, almost do the job all over again. But it's laying the platform so that then when Pope, Butler, and then it'll be Woakes coming in this time, they're coming in a vastly different situation than England in a bit of bother.
I mean, what is the time frame today? When do we play till? I always get confused. Andy will know. When we're playing till? No, you don't know either. Ask WG.
7, I think.
We can go until 7:30 to get the overs in.
Okay, so I don't think they'll probably get to the stage of taking that second new ball tonight.
What are we now? Oh, okay, it's 25 to 7 now. And Joseph is in to drive thick outside edge, flying away past backward point. Chase back as Stokes turns and makes it 2, and they'll make it 3 as well. There's a ball gathered just inside the rope. And with that, Stokes brings up his 50. And a slight raise of the bat, and Joe Root leaning forward in the dressing room again, thumping the window in approval. So Stokes 50 not out. He's made it. His first 50 of the Test summer.
Yeah, he's played nicely. Played with great control. He was playing so well in the first Test, and then just made it a couple of errors to Jason Holder. But you know, he's in such a confident mood, isn't he? He's in a calm mentality. Everything's covered. Joe Root's hair, he's gone for the slick Rick, hasn't he? When he's had
the Alice band.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's put a bit on that barnet of his just since he's been out. He's obviously gone for the new look, a bit longer. Makes
him look like he could feature in a boy band even more than he usually does. Yeah. It's the 100 partnership as well between these two. 183 on the board. There's some width, and Sibley's leapt all over it. And runs out through deep points, out to the cover boundary. Picked up inside the rope, though. Again, slower, wide outfield, big outfield, and a sluggish surface after the earlier rain, but they've run 3. And the partnership extends to 105, 186 for 3, England.
Yeah, that's a good shot. I mean, it's wide and he just leans on it and times it nicely square of the wicket. As we've been mentioning, he doesn't favour the offside. It's quite an awkward shot for him to be playing it through the offside, but that was very nicely played because he just kept his shape. Just timed it, used that top hand to glide it through the space at cover point.
Joseph in now. Tickled away down to fine leg, and that will reach the boundary. Nobody down patrolling that region. Takes England to 190 for 3, so some runs coming in a little bit of a flurry here for England, which we haven't been able to say much throughout the day.
Well, they've got that rate up to 2.7s now. For such a long period of the day, it was like 2.5, and it went down to 2.3 just after tea. They had a real good spell, the West Indies, with Roston chasing Kemar Roach just bowling dot after dot. And they just started to accelerate.
Stokes on to 54 now. Joseph giving the ball a good rub on his trousers. 190 for 3, in he comes. Jason Holder, who put down Sibley earlier. Stokes this time with a huge crack of bat on ball. Turned to mid-wicket and no run.
Stokes' half-century, 119 deliveries. He hit a 6 and 3 fours. At that point, he's since hit his 4th four. It's his 31st score of 50 or more in Test cricket. He has 9 hundreds amongst those scores. It's his 6th 50-plus score against West Indies. And looking at his recent record with the bat in his last 14 Tests, that's the 9th time he's reached 50, and he's averaging just under 56 in that time.
Keeping those numbers up as Joseph is in, looking to drive back up the pitch into the hands of the bowler, though. Squeeze it past him. Sibley was getting ready to take evasive action down at the far end. But yeah, fine cricketer, the superstar of the England team, that talismanic all-rounder, and his opportunity to captain. A couple of solid contributions with the bat, but as he said, Michael getting out before he was really able to capitalise and turn the 40s into 50s, so wanting to stand up here, and he and Sibley together, making it a huge contribution. There's still a lot of work to do. Joseph in with a back foot. Now that's been punched away through the covers. Turning for 2. And a long chase back in the deep. And
Had to do
they'll
a
run
lot
3.
of running, haven't they? They feel so slow. I mean, that's a 4. Particularly last week and generally here at Old Trafford, where the outfield's usually quite fast. But there's been so much rain over the last few weeks here in Manchester, not surprisingly.
Yep, John Campbell putting the miles in the legs then to retrieve that ball. So 193 for 3, and the partnership is a good one. It's building, and these two looking to see England through to the close if they can. Michael, another few thoughts from you. Simon Mann's coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be Jason Holder to replace Shannon Gabriel. The captain's going to try and break this partnership. It looks so controlled, apart from that outside edge that the West Indian captain dropped off Shannon Gabriel. It's been very controlled from this pair. It's not always been flamboyant, it's not always been exciting, but it's attritional and it's working. It's giving England a great chance of posting a very, very formidable first innings score. Good afternoon, Simon.
Hello, Michael.
How are you? You good?
Fine, thank you. I was looking for Andy Zaltzman.
Just say 21 from the last 2 overs. The most there had been from successive overs prior to that in the day was 11. So starting to flow a little.
What was Dom Sibley dropped on? How many did he have at the time?
He was dropped on 68.
Thank you. By Holder at second slip. Here's Holder bowling now. Round the wicket to Stokes. He's on 57. And Stokes allows that to go outside the off stump. He bought a testing spell earlier from the Jimmy Anderson end of the ground.
What you got on tonight, Simon? Any rock and roll or...?
It's hard to, isn't it, when you're in the bubble, really? I mean, normally I like to.
Especially in Manchester.
Yeah.
The town of music.
Yeah.
Hacienda, go but raving or something back in your day?
Yeah. No.
Maybe not.
It is a very different feel, this venue, to the Ageas Bowl. Here is Holder outside the off stump. Stokes lets that one go again, goes through on the second bounce to Darrich. Might roll his fingers over it there. It was sunny in Bristol today, Michael. I thought I'd like to inform you.
Yeah, you get the odd day, don't you? A couple a year.
But it's been uniformly grey all day in Manchester. Will we play to 7:30? Well, it's a bit brighter away to the left-hand side where the weather is coming from. Although, looking at the flags on the flagpoles at the far end now, they are drooping. So, is there enough breeze up there to blow that lighter weather over, possibly? Here is Holder bowling outside the off stump to Stokes, tempting him to drive. He doesn't play the shot, allows it to go through to Dowrich. 93 for 3.
So what do? You go back to your room, you shower, change, you go down into the restaurant, you book your table, I guess.
I booked my table, yeah.
You'll be watching a bit of football later.
8:45 tonight.
Oh, you're late.
Late. Yeah, that's all that was left. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't booked one. I'm going to struggle.
Have you not?
No, I'm not booked yet. Don't think so, unless the Tufnell's booked me one.
It's Holder bowling full again outside the off stump. Stokes again, no, not to be tempted. It was a tempter. Through to Dowrich. Yeah, well, I think you might be in trouble then, because I went over there earlier. We got to rearrange some of the booking times of the late play, and the woman at the reception said, "Oh, it's pretty full, you know." I thought, well, there aren't many other options.
What time's the last table?
Well, it's normally about 8:45, 9 o'clock. I think we got right at the end.
I'm struggling.
Holder again outside the off stump. Again, nothing from Ben Stokes. Sort of test of patience here. Holder to Stokes. Very similar deliveries. First 5 balls of the over, and Stokes, who in another mood might have been tempted to take it on, but he's batting incredibly responsibly, as we've seen him do in sort of the first part of his innings for a long time now. He does give himself time and then gradually begins to go through the gears. He's 57 not out. Holder balls to him, and there we go, carbon copy. Almost as if we might not have bothered that over. No, anyway, 6 balls in roughly the same place, and Stokes playing 6 shots, or non-shots.
Quite a few overs like that today, Simon.
193 for 3 is the score. We've had 72 overs. There are 11 overs in theory left in the day's play. We've got 3/4 an hour in which to bowl them, as long as the light holds out today. If you are joining us after a day's work, whatever, Burns out for 15, Crawley for 0 first ball, quarter leg slip, and Root for 23. 2 for Chase either side of lunch, and then 1 for Alzari Joseph. Chase 16 overs, 2 for 53. The 2 batsmen having a drink, then these two have put together a century partnership. They came together at 81 for 3, so it's now worth 112 for this 4th wicket. And it did feel, I felt it at the time, and I did say at the time, it does feel like quite a good toss to lose today. England would have bowled, they might have got more out of it, who knows, they might have got less out of it. England in a good position here.
Yeah, England scoring shots today, just 10 fours, 1 6, 13 threes, which is an unusually high number of threes, 22 twos. By comparison, in their first innings in Southampton, when they were bowled out 204 in 67 overs, 30 fours, 6 threes and 13 twos, and that's got a big outfield as well. It does suggest this outfield has been extremely sluggish.
Yeah, that's been part of it as well today. How many threes did you say? 13?
13.
Part of the slower scoring. Here is Kemar Roach bowling outside the off stump to Sibley, allows it to go by, taken by Dowrich. Tuffers is here for the last knockings of the day.
Evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening and welcome.
Still as fresh at 7 o'clock as he is at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah.
But it's been a hard-working day, I think, for everybody out there. Certainly for Dominic Sibley. The West Indies bowlers frustrated, really, looking for more than this. Definitely when you put the team in.
Yeah.
Roach bowls outside the off stump. Nothing from Sibley, but if they can have 2 more wickets now, 200 for 5.
A couple of catches down, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That would have been handy. Just to take it up to perhaps, 190 for 5. Different complexion on the day. It's been a bit cold, hasn't it? Been a bit breezy as well. Difficult to get into your work. As a bowler.
West Indies trying to create some energy out there among the fielders. Roach goes in and bowls to Sibley, who drives into the offside, doesn't quite have the power to beat the dive at cover. There was optical illusion there, Tubbs. I think you, like me, thought he got that through, threaded it through the offside. There wasn't quite the power in the shot. So no run.
Makes a bit of a clank as well, then, doesn't it? Sort of clank. It must be hitting it on the bottom of the bat, I think. No wickets for Roach in 3 innings.
Nothing in the series so far. The leading wicket taker in Test cricket in the side. That's full, and Sibley likes it there. Clipped away. Right towards deep backward square leg. Roston Chase runs after it from mid wicket and sends in the return, and Sibley gets 2 more.
Roston Chase gives chase.
Indeed. Takes Sibley to 78. If these two both go on and make 100, who do you think is going to get there first? Stokes 57, Sibley 78. Could be quite tight.
Yeah, could be. Listen, they've both got stuck in, and it's been a get stuck in day. That's what the coach Silverwood would have been saying, and Joe Root.
Roach to Sibley, very full down the leg side.
Leg stump Yorker he tried for there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he tried to flick it away and missed it. Stopped by Dowrich. He's not had an easy day behind the stumps. Some of the wide bowling, especially from Shannon Gabriel.
Yeah, he'll have to have those hands in buckets of ice afterwards, because nothing's really just sort of gone into that palm of the ends of fingers, and they'll be pulsating this evening.
Ended up on his backside there trying to stop that one. He did stop it. No buys. Roach coming in purposefully from the far end. Bowls to Sibley, who drives and hits that hard into the ground. It goes bouncing out towards backward point, and there is no run. Brathwaite stops it, and that was the end of the over. Sibley is 78. He's been batting for 73 overs, and England are 195 for 3 with 10 overs or 42.5 minutes left in the day's play.
He has looked to play a little bit more on the offside, hasn't he, as he's got going, actually, to be fair to Dom Sibley. A couple of off drives there. One has been a bit unlucky, almost straight to the fielder. But he has looked to kind of get that shut face a little bit more open and punch it through the offside.
So do you think that's a question of trusting himself more to play those shots?
Yeah. He's got himself in. I quite like his focus. You know, it's almost like, I'm not going to play this off drive when I'm on 10, you know, outside the off stump, because it's not my shot. The ball's swinging, overcast conditions. I'm going to completely put that away, and I'm just going to look to hit on the leg side. And then slowly, as you get in a bit more, trust himself, you're right.
Holder, a new over, bowls to Stokes. Swings in to Stokes with the angle, comes in with the angle there. And Stokes does play this time. He has to play a ball on off stump. Remember the previous over, there were 6 balls outside the off stump, and he didn't have to, and he didn't play at any of them.
Stokes' half century was his 4th slowest in terms of how many balls it's taken him to reach 50 out of the 31 50-plus scores he's made in Test cricket. The slowest was the start of that famous innings in Leeds last year.
Holder to Stokes. Stokes doesn't play at that one again. Dowrich doesn't take it cleanly behind the stumps. There's some wobble around there as well.
It has been all day. Has been all day, and the odd ones just seamed as well, especially from that wobble seam. There you go, there again, that little bit of wobble seam. It just bites into that surface. I think this surface might do something if you just get the right sort of bowler. I don't think the West Indies have perhaps sort of bowled in partnerships enough, if you know what I mean, or found that sort of like nice kiss length, or is it banging length?
Holder Stokes outside the off stump, no stroke.
Perhaps someone like a Sam Curran and perhaps a Wokes as well might just find it. But I think there is something in it. It's not that sort of hard with a top to it that you usually see at Old Trafford, you know, like a rolled, really shiny surface which is hard to get through. It's a bit grubby. Looks a bit grubby.
You look at the surface where the bowlers have been running, and there's very dark patches.
Oh, lovely.
They've been running in.
Spinners will be licking the lips.
And outside the off stump as well. That's down the leg side with the angle from Holder, just getting the ball over a bit, and Stokes tried to turn it away, missed it. Taken by a leaping Dowrich away to his right hand side. Always getting the best weather of the day. I mean, it's all these things are relative. But a lighter patch coming in away to the left, almost suggesting a sunny evening in Manchester.
Is it because it sits over the Pennines or something?
No, I don't know.
Because there's been a breeze to blow it off. But it hasn't.
Holder bowls, normal service resumed, outside the off stump. Stokes not prepared to take it on. Allowing it to go through to Dowrich again. I mean, these are the sort of days, they're attritional days. I mean, these are the days that set up Test match victories, potentially. I mean, sometimes they're not always thrilling, and England haven't, they haven't gone a long way so far. I mean, they're still under 200 runs.
Yeah. West Indies come back tomorrow, knock 2 or 3 out quickly. They'll think they've had they're right in the game.
Also, new ball is only 6 overs away.
Yes,
we might have one of those at the start of tomorrow's play.
Yes.
Holder bowls outside the offside, very wide, swinging away. Another tester for Dowrich, who dives full length away to his left to take that between first and second slips.
Yeah.
End of Holder's over. A maiden over.
You might need a bit of whitener on the knees of them pads, hasn't he? Every other over I've seen him full length.
That's 5 successive maidens by Jason Holder, 3 at the end of his last spell and 2 at the start of this spell. The running total of Holder to Stokes in this series is now 11 overs, 2 for 9.
Wow, so he really has pinned him down. He's not...
Yeah. Yes, I mean, that sounds good to me, doesn't it? And he bowled very well at him in Southampton, but I think...
It's Roach bowling, new over outside the offside, swinging away, started wide, nothing from Sibley.
I think he's been a bit wide today, though. You can sometimes get sort of like good maidens in that column if you just sometimes bowl a little bit too wide, and these 2 batsmen, to be fair, have been very disciplined and they haven't gone after it. I think they've been a bit wide all day, really, the West Indies, haven't they? They haven't been homing in on that off stump, which they did so well at Southampton.
Roach turns. The old pavilion behind him. Goes in now and bowls to Sibley. Outside the off stump again, shaping away. Sibley judged it nicely, didn't play at it. About 5th, 6th stump. Through to Dowrich again.
I'm going to put my muffers on. I've just seen them. Thank you, Skipper.
For now, the scoring is dried up. Sometimes when that happens, it can produce a wicket.
Thought I didn't quite feel this right.
This is Roach. Moving in past umpire Gough to bowl to Dominic Sibley, and this time he loses his line, gets onto the pads of Sibley, who clips him away for 4 through backward square leg. It was also a no ball, so add 5 runs to the total and bowl it again. You bowl there to Sibley, he will destroy you. That's where he is so strong.
Oh yes, that's better. That's better.
Such a low full toss. Even better. And that got what it deserved.
The muffers are back. The muffers are back on. I thought something didn't feel quite right today. A lot more comfy around the ears.
200 is up for England. 200 for 3 with those 5 runs. Roach goes into bowls to Sibley, and there's a wasp or a fly or something around his head. He's swatting at something. Roach has to walk all the way back. So frustrating for a bowl, especially at this time of the day. Been out there for 75 overs.
Sucking in a couple of lungfuls anyway. You've wasted a whole run-in.
So Roach has been steady in this series, but yet to take a wicket.
Yeah.
Running in again now to bowl to Sibley. Another really wide delivery. Tough of saying, but the wide bowling today, there was another one.
I was looking at him to be, in English conditions, that sort of like, well, you could say sort of English-style seamer, that's going to be looking to pitch the ball up and entice the drive. But he's bowled well, but as you say, no rewards. Starts to become a little bit frustrating coming off at tea and lunch, and at the end of play, well bowled. Well, yeah, OK, thanks very much. Well, what's some wickets?
17th over for Roach. No wicket for 34. Tries again, bowls to Sibley.
Wide.
Yeah, too wide again, and Sibley allows it to go through. Taken by Dowrich.
But then he do come a bit straighter, and then it's just straight into his shot, you see. So at the moment, Sibley's...
he's winning the war, is he?
Yes, he's winning the war. And out planning them, or out bluffing them, so to speak. Doing all right.
He's been there for 232 balls through his 82. Roach bowls him outside the off stump. Sibley prepared to let that one go as well.
Patience. Must have the patience of a saint.
Seen a little acceleration from England over the recent overs. The first 50 took 21 overs and 1 ball. They moved from 50 to 100 and another 20 overs and 1 ball. Then 20 overs and 4 balls to get to 150, but just 12.3. They've gone around about 4 and over to get from 150 to 200, aided by a few extras, 3 no balls and 3 wides.
Roach bowls, Sibley leaves. That was closer to off stump. It was a more testing delivery from Kemar Roach, but Sibley's lined it up well.
Yeah.
Allowed it to go through to Dowrich again. It's the end of the over. 5 overs from the new ball.
Yeah.
And we're very close to having the sun come through for the first time today.
Do you take it tonight?
What, the new ball?
Tired legs.
There are 8 overs left.
Shannon Gabriel's looks like he's a bit tired. Roach would have finished his spell. Might actually keep it in the umpire's pocket and have a dart with it tomorrow.
Yeah, you might do come back tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Fresh and reinvigorated.
Jason Holder is going to continue. So 8 overs left, and we're going to get them in half an hour. So we might do Frost and Chase bowls, possibly. It's been another one of those long first days. The delayed start.
Yeah, it always just puts you off rhythm, doesn't it?
Yeah. Here is Holder. Over the wicket, bowls to Stokes. He turns that down towards fine leg. He's off quickly for the first. Looking for the second. He's coming back for the second. Throws on its way to Dowrich. Dowrich whips off the bails, but Stokes is quick. It's one of those, in a one-day match, you wouldn't have bat an eyelid about them coming back for 2 there, because it's a test match.
Don't want to get run out now.
No, Stokes was quick, though.
Nice throw.
John Campbell down there, in front of the point.
Decent throw. Oh, right over the bails, yeah. Made it comfortable.
Stokes to 59. And England to 202 for 3. There's a strange pressure, isn't there? And the psychology of the game when you win the toss and put the opposition into bat.
Yeah. The onus is,
You feel you have to make something happen.
Yeah, the onus is on the on your bowlers.
Holder bowls wide across Stokes, full. Stokes ignores it.
Well, if they're this, if they're 220 for 3, England at the end of play, I think they'll be pretty happy being stuck in. Yeah. They'll be thinking, well, if the sun comes out tomorrow, the pitch might just flatten out a little bit.
What is the weather forecast tomorrow? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sunny but dry.
Yeah. And not perhaps, cloudy.
Holder into bowl to Stokes. Stokes head right over it, playing defensively.
And I can also understand England not wanting to perhaps look to rattle on now. As you say, they've done the hard work. They've put the building blocks and the foundation in for a big score. You don't want to, with half an hour to go, do something stupid, or you will be kicking yourself over your dinner.
Yeah. A suggestion of plenty of cloud around.
Oh, is there still?
All day tomorrow. High of about 21 degrees.
Suggestion.
And then some rain around on Saturday morning.
God.
Holder to Stokes, and Stokes thinks about playing and then lets it go, and it goes arcing away, taken by diving Dowrich to his left. And sunny on Sunday.
Good.
But cool, actually. Cool but sunny.
Oh, dear.
17 degrees. What happened to that summer that we had?
We had a lovely April and May, didn't we?
I know.
In lockdown. When we was all hemmed in.
A waste of weather almost.
Wasn't it ever?
Certainly a waste of good cricket weather.
Wonderful, wasn't it? April, and that Easter was lovely.
Holder bowls, and that's a good lead from Stokes. Tight to his off stump. Hear the reaction from the West Indies close fielders there.
Yeah, England are setting in for the long haul here, aren't they? They've left very well, these two, to be fair. That'll put the kiss of death on them, but they have left very well.
Sibley giving one chance on 68. Actually, there was a very hard chance to short leg. I mean, you call that a chance?
Well, he middled it straight into his tummy, didn't he? Yeah.
Sometimes you jackknife quickly enough to hold on to the catch, almost with your body rather than your hands. Holder to Stokes, again across him. Stokes leaving it. This test of patience continues, with Holder bowling wide of Stokes' off stump, and Stokes not to be tempted. End of the over. 202 for 3.
Or if you
7 overs left.
If you're wearing your mate's long sleeve sweater, because you're feeling a bit cold, you might be able to sort of snag it in a
Can
sweat.
you remember that amazing incident?
Slater, wasn't it? Was it
Well,
Michael Slater?
there was a championship match where Jonathan Trott caught it in his pocket.
Yes.
Have you seen
I've
that?
seen a couple. Oh, I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple in Test matches. Michael Slater was one that I definitely remember. He's almost turned and caught it in sort of like a flap of a sweater.
Yeah.
And sort of popped his hand in there. Gap caught Mark Moore in his tummy off me at Adelaide. I've seen a couple there, and it's usually with the sweater as you sort
When you
of...
say with his tummy.
Well, no, he
just-
did exactly that. He jackknifed it and then managed to get his arms round it and sort of claw, cradle it.
Roach to
Close.
Sydney, shout for LBW, not too far away.
Oh.
And it's given not out by umpire Goff.
They're having a look here. They've got it. Straight away they're having a look. Why not this time of day?
It looks straight. I just wonder about height.
It thudded in.
Yeah.
You heard a big thud, didn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, hello. It's a no ball. No, it's not. Ooh, close.
No, he's all right there.
Yeah.
Just enough behind. Right, let's have a look at front on.
Wobble seam again. Oh, it's high, isn't it?
It is.
It's well above the knee roll. That is a 7:05 review, that is.
Yeah, so top of the front pad.
It might be clipping.
That front foot is inside the
Right back
crease.
before it reaches the bat. Keep it going through.
This is Richard
Keep it going
Kettleborough, TV umpire.
Now, just take it right back again, please. Oh, just to make sure. Right back before frame by frame, and then take it forward now, please, as it goes past the bat. Thank you. Keep it going.
Nothing there.
Yeah, keep it going. In fact, I'm happy there's no bat involved there. We'll go to ball tracking when available, please.
Red. Umpire's call.
It's pitching outside off. Impact is in line, and wickets is umpire's call.
Oh, just clipping the bails.
I'm going to go back to Michael on field. Michael, you can stay with your original decision. You're on camera now.
Good decision, that, for me.
It did look a bit high, didn't it?
Oh,
it really was marginal to the top of the stumps on the technology.
Yeah. The real bottom sort of arc of the ball, just clipping. So I think that's fair enough.
What you hope as a bowler, and that's part of the appeal, I think, and the conviction in the appeal.
Yeah.
Break off as Roach goes in and bowls, and Sibley plays a no ball up towards mid-on, and there's no run. The appeal, you can, on those umpires' calls, you can get the umpire to lift the finger so it goes your way. Go on, please. Yeah, come on. It's out. It's hitting the stumps.
I mean, a fair guide, though, is if it hits above the knee roll of a tall batsman, it's kind of, you've got to have a slight guide there, haven't you? And, that's hit almost at the top of the flap. Yeah, that's a fair enough call for me.
203 for 3, Roach to Sibley. Sibley stands there and blocks it. Not much movement there, foot movement. Bat firmly coming down in defence.
What's Mike going to just come and wrinkled his face up and then walked off?
203 for 3. Sibley on 82.
He'll be appreciating Sibley's knock there, old Athers. He'll be all lovely, lovely. There, get stuck in. 82 off 237, racing along.
Yes, he's played a few innings like that this time. Roach wide of the crease, bowls to Sibley, angled away towards backward point. Picked up by Brathwaite, and there is no run. At least for West Indies, there they didn't lose their review.
No,
it was umpire's call.
Yeah, but you got it. That's fair enough, isn't it? That umpire's call, I think. You've got to have some kind of guide in it. Oh, sorry.
We're keeping you up, Thomas. It's all right. You've just got another 20 minutes. And you haven't got far to go.
Sorry.
Roach bowls outside the off stump. There's nothing from Sibley.
Oh,
it's 3 to Dyrich.
Can you shot that way? Oh dear. Yeah.
Well, it's been hard work today, Thomas.
Wow, and this is where the crowd keeps everyone going, a bit, isn't it? And this is the bowl inside. I think England fell foul of that a little bit, at Southampton. That last day pushing for wickets with no crowd to jeer them along.
Roach to Sibley. Sibley blocks it. Straight ball. Plays it quietly towards mid-wicket. No run.
Yeah, I think the fielding side misses the crowd more than the batting side, wouldn't you say? Yeah, because batsmen are just so...
They're in their bubble, aren't
Yes, they are. When fielding side, you're sitting there and you're getting a bit from the crowd and it lifts you and you go, right, come on, you know. But with no crowd, perhaps...
Yeah, Alistair was talking at Southampton before the game. He said, when I'm batting, I didn't really notice the crowd at all.
That's right. But you do notice the crowd when you're in the field pushing for wickets. The crowd does spur you along a bit.
Roach to Sibley. Sibley drives and misses on the inside there, on the inside edge. Well, that was an extravagant shot from him. I haven't seen many of those from Sibley today. Really went at that. Past the inside edge and through to Dowrich. End of the over. 203.43. James Stokes emails, if there was ever a time we needed a proper test match limpet, it is now.
Yeah.
Or any other first innings of the last 4 years. We must be thankful for what we wish for. Grind them down, Dom.
Yes.
This could be a match-winning knock. Well, James is absolutely right.
Absolutely right. And he's homing in now. What is he? Only 18 away from a test century. So he will be absolutely delighted with his work. And so will the England team. Simple as.
Yeah, you can perhaps have your frivolous, your fun as the game goes on, but this is where the foundations. It's a bit like building a house, isn't it? The foundations are the horrible bit of building a house, and then you see the bricks going on. And
it's all the soft furnishings are the nice bits, aren't they? Lovely cushions. And
Sam Curran with the soft furnishings. Tea time tomorrow, smashing it everywhere.
Yes.
Outside the off stump from Holder, no stroke from Stokes.
Nice crockery and things on the table and everything. But I'm afraid you've got to do the the donkey work a bit.
Yeah, it's hard work putting in the foundations.
It is. I've done it.
I have too.
Yeah, no good for the hands. No. I much prefer doing the
days and days of work without any sort of seeming benefit.
And then someone comes along and goes, "What have you been doing?" You know what I mean? Yeah. They haven't done anything. Just put 10 foot of foundations on. Yeah, not much fun.
Holder to Stokes, and Stokes lets that one go outside the off stump. We've seen quite a lot of balls from Holder like that of late to Stokes.
With most things, it's the preparation that counts. You've got to be a good preparer, That's why I've always liked the flashy jobs at the end. Yeah. You've got to earn that.
It's the rubbing down when you're painting, isn't it? You hate that, but actually you've got to do the rubbing down to make the painting look nice in the end.
Exactly, and that's the bit that you forget.
Holder to Stokes. Stokes does have to play at that one with the angle from round the wicket on off stump.
You've been doing a bit of DIY during lockdown time? Well, you're talking very knowledgeably.
Well, no, I have done in the past. A lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
Not much during lockdown, though.
No, me neither. I'll just get someone else in to do the foundations.
You couldn't do that in lockdown. You couldn't get someone else in.
No, you couldn't. A few of the boys
came to stand. Did they?
Yeah, a few of the boys who could socially distance and stuff.
Holder bowls an absolute beauty there to Stokes, angling in and then leaving him, flying through to Dowrich.
Yeah, it's a beauty.
Went a long way.
7:10. Angled in. That's that wobble seam again. This is where Holder has got a lot better. Because as people say about his captaincy was playing on his mind or what have you, he's developed this wobble seam delivery because he's had that beautiful shape which goes away from the right-hander, but then he's developed this wobble seam which when it pitches jags back or the other way.
There's no way Stokes was hitting that.
No.
He went too far.
Yeah, he'd have had to be Don Bradman to admit that.
West Indies changing the field. They're bringing John Campbell up from fine leg to third slip. Strange one, that, isn't it? I mean, Campbell has fielded in the slips of quite a bit of the time, but he's got a blow on his hand. I'm not sure, but he's been fielding in the outfield a lot as well. But suddenly to go from fine leg where you're
with a bad toe as well.
You're not really in the game. Right? You're sort of in the game, but you're not concentrating the same way.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're in there at third slip. Here is Holder bowling outside the off stump. No stroke from Stokes again. Through to Dowrich.
He's quite metronomic, isn't he, Jason Holder? He just, for a big lad, doesn't look like he must be fit. Because he just keeps coming in and just keeps going doof, doof, doof. There's no sort of... I mean, we can see with the old Gabriel that he was a little bit, a bit stiff and everything, but there's no real difference with Jason Holder. And he runs in a long way.
Yeah. coming to the end of his 18th over. 203 for 3. Holder bowls to Stokes. Stokes leaves again, and that is the end of the over. 78 gone. There are 5 overs left in the day's play, or 18 minutes. Whichever arrives. Well.
Here comes John.
Jonathan's coming in to take us through to 7:30, I think.
Yeah, he's fizzing. Looks fizzing, Haggers. Yep. They've done it pretty well, and if they can get through to stumps only 3 down, they'll be absolutely delighted. Come back tomorrow. There will be some miles in the West Indies bowlers' legs. They'll be tired, and they'll be thinking, well, hold on, we've still got the likes of Butler, Pope, Wokes, Curran. I mean, Don Best coming in 10, Stuart Broad at 11. I mean, they can really pile on the pressure tomorrow.
Well, they can, and looking at the way the pitch is behaving, bowling last might not be so bad.
No, I think there's a bit in this, John.
Yep. Yes, I'm not sure the West Indies have had a great day with the ball today.
No, look, tired.
Yeah. Just lacking the discipline that they showed in Southampton. We've got Roach bowling, and the first ball to Sibley is pushed away, as so many have been, into the offside.
Well, it just shows that it's probably taken a lot out of them to win that test match.
Yep.
You know, just don't cruise up and win a test match. And especially the bowlers, you know, they would have had to really put in to get a result at Southampton. And
they sat on a bus rattling up from...
It's hard work, mate.
As you know. Yeah, absolutely.
As you know. Knees, ankles.
Do you take the new ball tonight?
We were just saying to Simon, no.
You're not taking it?
No, I'm not.
Here's Roach bowling with a big grunt outside the off stump, and Sibley watches it go through. It's very low. So it goes through to Durrett. 203 for 3. Run rate of 2.5 and over.
Would you, John?
How many overs has Roach bowled in this spell?
For you, 6 or 7?
This is his 4th.
Oh.
It's 4th. So he'll probably have 2, would he, with the new one?
Yeah, I'd start afresh with a new ball, new day.
Would you? Roach bowls, and Sibley again lets that go through outside the off stump. But Roach is cross. He knows he hasn't got it quite right today. Stamping at the footholes. So they've had a few problems with those, and I'm wondering if it's the damp on the grass.
Yeah.
It gets into your boots.
Leather soles.
And you take the damp up with you onto the...
Have they got leather soles?
Probably not anymore. But you take the damp with you, don't you? Whatever they're made of now. And you slip. And I just wonder if that's what's happened here. There seems some pouring at the ground going on there. Yeah. And all the bowlers have been doing that a bit. And those footholes are very dark.
Yeah, they are.
And you can see, look at the footprints running up. So it is damp out there.
Yeah.
203 for 3. Here's Roach. Goes wider of the crease, bowls, and Sibley punches that along the ground to Gabriel at mid-on. See, there is an argument. If you take the new ball now...
Yeah, you have 2 bites of the cherry.
2 cracks at it, exactly. So, because it'll still be nice and hard and fresh tomorrow morning.
I just feel that they feel... I think that the West Indies are tired.
I think Shannon needs to head for the ice bath.
I think he does get in the old wheelie bin.
I think so.
And have a good rub down.
In comes Roach. Bowls, and Sibley gets a single, turning him away into the leg side, out to deep square leg.
We shall see, certainly.
We will shortly. 204 for 3. And from West Indian perspective, I know they've worked hard today. They haven't actually been at their best, but the day hasn't got away with them at all. So they do get
3 or 4 quickly.
Burst in with a new ball, yeah.
Yeah, 204 for 220 for 6.
Yeah.
220 for 7. England right back to square one. They haven't let it get away from them, even though I think they'll be, as I say, disappointed. I wouldn't have minded a couple more today.
No, and having put England in,
it
was a big call given the overs that they had bowled down in Southampton. Floodlights have been on all day, and they're still on now.
The bill must be astronomical.
Yes, a little bit of brightness to our left up there in the cloud, but we haven't seen the sun all day, I'm afraid. 204 for 3. Roach is coming round the wicket and bowls, and Stokes raises the bat, and through it goes to the keeper, Darich. That is the end of the 79th over. So there's one more to come from this end, and then we'll see if Holder, who's bowling this over, will decide to take it or not. They probably have maybe 3 overs with the second.
Why not take the new ball? You might take one with you, mightn't you, and just give you a lift.
Well, the bowlers, I mean, these 2 are loose.
Yeah.
And, give it a go.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh! Simon's got tangled up with all the headsets that are gathered up over there.
Yeah.
Saw it coming in slow motion.
Look at the bowlers' lines according to the CricViz ball tracking data, and according to this data, 30% of the balls West Indian seamers have bowled today have been in the channel, the line they describe as wide. So they have 4 lines. I'll explain after this delivery.
Hold up, goes galloping in, bowls to Sibley, a little bit of outswing there, but he's pushed it away for a single into the offside. 205 for 3.
They have wide, which is outside off stump, what they call channel, which is just outside of stump, stumps, which is on the stumps, and then leg to the leg side. Today, 30% have been wide. You compare that with Southampton. In the first innings, it was 20.7%. In the second innings, just 12%. Yeah. So they've been a lot wider today than they were in the first test.
It seems that an awful lot has been left today. A lot of batsmen playing and just taking the bat out of the way and leaving the ball alone.
Yeah. And that's the highest proportion of deliveries in the wide channel on CricViz's data in a test innings in England since the Headingley Tests of 2017 in West Indies' second bowling innings of that game.
Has Gabriel got his own channel for those few that he fired at second slip?
I think they only count for 1 ball each. A couple of them merited 3 or 4.
205 for 3. We're in the 80th over, and Holder's going round the wicket and bowls to Stokes. Again, that does swing. And Stokes head over this, plays out to cover point, and Holder looks at him, but there's definitely some movement in the air there.
Yeah, for sure. Still getting it.
Yeah, and that was a much fuller length than we've seen, and that was in the right channel too, and it made Stokes play. But for an 80 over old ball to be doing that,
well, nice lush outfield,
yeah,
hasn't it? Kept it nice and shiny, perhaps. No reverse swing.
He wheels round, wearing 98 on his back, past the umpire now, over the wicket, around the wicket, and bowls, and Stokes just stands up with a very straight bat and plays patiently into the offside. 205 for 3. 3 balls to go in this over. Play will end at 7:30, so it's about 10 minutes to go. And such is the way this works that, of course, the BBC 2 highlights programme is already running, so they've got to do some lively endings for that. Are you doing the close of play?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, you might have to do it live, Tuffers.
Well, I might have to. You might have to squeeze it in, with the old clock ticking coming up to you. You don't want to get it take 20.
No, put some pressure on you.
Cheers, John.
205 for 3. Oh, Stokes pulls away there. Holder was just about to let the ball go. Can't believe someone's moving behind the arm. There's no one here.
Pigeon.
And Stokes apologises and says something to Holder, who's smiling broadly, but it's hard to believe that anybody moved behind the arm.
Apart from the poor chap down there at the other end who was on camera duty.
Well, just doing his job.
He just put the old hands up and said, well, what can I do?
No. We're given such a tight area in which, if you are allowed out onto the ground, where you're allowed to stand. And he said, well, this is where I've been put.
Well, this cameraman's got a bit of camouflage on his camera, hasn't he? That?
So he has.
Yeah.
Holder runs in, bowls very full. Again, there's that swing there. Stokes jabs the ball out. It trickles up the pitch. Holder's not going to bend down and pick it up.
No. Long way to go for it.
Yeah, but look who is though. Good old Gabriel comes striding up. He's coming to pick it up. Yep. And he goes.
Yeah. It's been a bit cool as well today, hasn't it? Which you don't like playing cricket. The old breeze biting at you.
Well, it's going to end at 7:30. We didn't think we'd get this far, if I'm honest, with the light around about tea time. Holder round the wicket, bowls, and Stokes plays on the front foot in a very determined, solid defensive stroke, fielded by Roach at straight mid off. There's 1 ball to go until the second new ball is available, so we'll know then what the West Indies are going to do. But there's 3 overs at the most. I suspect probably might only be 2 that can be bowled with it. I think take it. Just wait. I think the batsman wake up and go, oh, hang on, what's going on here? Something different. And then come back with the new ball anyway tomorrow. Holder bowls, Stokes lets it go through, and whistling through it does too. To Darich, that ends the 80th over, so the new ball is available. And we shall see what happens. It's been conveyed now by the 4th umpire, running out with his jacket and white cap on. And the batsman, we're wondering too what the West Indians are going to do, but the clock on the pavilion's showing 7:20, which I think is a little bit slow actually. The umpires might Might be a little bit more advanced of that. But what's happening? Well, the new ball has gone into umpire Illingworth's pocket, and there's no sign of Kemar Roach taking it. I don't know. I think it's just changes the tempo a bit when you take a new ball, and it's not as though these two are going to smack it about, Carlos, is it? That's not the way they've played. But
with the way the legs look in the West Indies camp, it's easier for Norwich to stay in the Premier League this season.
Oh, you like your football, don't you? Here's Roach down the leg side. Diving attempt from Daric, though. I don't think he got anything on that, but there was a deflection. I don't think he actually hit it with bat or glove. To fire down the leg side again. There's that swing there. No, I don't think he got anything on it. Actually, it was just swinging and kept going. Actually, arguably, the ball's swinging more now than it has done all day, which is very unusual. You see a very shiny side on it. It shows that sweat works okay. You don't have to use saliva to rub into the ball to get a polish. Roach again bowls an in-swinger, which is turned by Sibley, but Stokes wasn't having that. He wanted a single. But Stokes said no. 205 for 3. So the highlights are on BBC Two at the moment. You can always watch them on the iPlayer, of course, at any time it takes your fancy. Sibley 84, Stokes 59. It's been an attritional day, but England were put into bat in pretty helpful conditions. Here comes Roach, and he bowls very full, and Sibley again just works him away in that favourite area of his out to deep square leg for another run. And I asked Andy how the wagon wheel was looking, but it'll be, I suspect, hugely balanced to one side, is it?
It's very leg side. He's had a couple of fours behind square on the offside, Sibley. 14 of his now 85 runs have been in front of square on the offside. So a heavy preponderance, as always with his batting, to leg side scoring.
14. That's amazing. I mean, that's getting on the front foot and playing defensively out to cover and taking a single. I mean, that's a very slow number, a very low number. 206 for 3. Sibley 85. Stokes on 59, and still no sign of that new ball. There's 2 slips of gully. Roach on his way. Bowls. Oh, almost found the edge. Lovely ball, swinging away from Stokes, who nods his head in approval there towards the bowler. But this is a much more challenging line and length that we've seen possibly all day from the West Indies in these last few overs. The ball swung, they pitched the ball up. That's really gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be a real anti-climax, but I'd love for Roach to get a wicket. He's toiled away, he's worked hard, he's challenged, just no luck.
Well, he's turning in again, the lights shining brightly behind him. Bowls round the wicket, and Stokes this time is able to get well onto the front foot and play that away out to cover. And there's no run. 206 for 3, heading towards close of play. We'll have our review of the day, of course, in the course of that. An eventful day too, with England players summoned to a meeting at 8 o'clock this morning for the news that Jofra Archer wouldn't be playing because he'd broken the protocol by going home between test matches, and he's now going to sit in his room for 5 days quarantining because it's outside the off stump. And Stokes allows that to go through. So that's how the day began. But, in some ways, the unsettling nature of that has been steadied, actually put into bat, and you could tell from Joe Root's body language this morning that he wasn't happy at all with what had happened on the Archer front. But
I just wonder if England missed a trick today, because this has not been a good day overall by the West Indies bowlers and bowling attack as a collective. But they've only scored at 2.5. Really and truly, you'd expect them to capitalise and be 260, 270, and if someone gets in and really takes the bull by the horns, be close to 300 or just past it by the end of the day. They're one collapse away from the first
test. Holder bowling, swinging away from Sibley. That's quite a good example of Sibley's technique, really, because he was forward there to a ball outside off stump, and he was playing towards mid-off, but the ball doesn't go to mid-off, it goes to mid-on.
Yeah, he's done the job. He's done the job.
Well, he's certainly got patience.
Yeah, but again, as I was saying, they won collapse away. They were how much? 240 for 3?
Yeah.
Zach Crawley and Ben Stokes. So they won collapse away, and West Indies can't bowl this bad tomorrow, I'm sure.
Almost got the sun out. Holder moves in, bowls, and Sibley this time allows that to pass by. My clock here, which I think is one of those sort of radio controlled, very correct ones, is showing that there's 2.5 minutes to go before 7:30. But I don't know whether the umpire's wristwatches are showing that time, but whether this will be the last over or not. There's 4 balls to go in it. Stokes 59, Sibley 85. Men out earlier. Burns, the first one, out to the last over before lunch. Just missed a straight ball from Ross and Chase, the off spinner. First ball after lunch, in other words, the next delivery bowled. Crawley turned Chase to backward short leg. There's a single out towards mid-on, run very quickly, taking Sibley on to 86. And Stokes saying, yeah, well done, well run. 207 for 3. So Crawley, a first bowler, having played so well at the Ageas Bowl. And then Joe Root took a while to get in. He hasn't batted for ages, let's face it. But, he played pretty well with some nice shots, but then he chased a wide ball driving at Joseph and was smartly taken by Holder. That second slip for 23. Sibley gave one of those strange chances to short leg on 44 where it's clipped quite firm in the short leg field and was trying to just catch it somehow in his arms, but failed to do so, but then properly dropped on 68 by Holder at second slip. Bad miss. And now the sun is out. 3 balls to go, I think, in the day's play. As Holder now moves in and bowls one that just holds its own outside the off stump, and Stokes lets it go by. And for the first time today, we've got shadows at the players' feet that are actually created by sunshine and not by the artificial floodlight.
2 minutes.
That's lovely.
2 minutes away from close of play.
But you can see what it was like before they turned this strip round. Imagine batting now at the right end, so the east end, looking west into that sun. Well, that's seriously bright.
Have you ever had a situation where a batsman couldn't bat just because of the sun?
Well, when it was shining on the roof, the old, when they actually came off. 207 for 3. Here's Holder bowling outside the off stump. That wasn't far away. Stokes let it go by, so that's why they turned it round, because obviously most cricket grounds go more or less north-south. East-west, you've got this problem with the setting sun, and so that's quite a good example, really, because the shadows now are stretching right across the ground from the floodlight.
So before the pitch was this way, there was a building blocking the sun?
No, it didn't block it. It wasn't high enough. It was probably, I think it's probably 3 stories. So there were a couple of stories of hospitality boxes, and then our commentary boxes on top.
Okay.
Holder bowls outside the off stump and beats Stokes. It's a good way for Holder to finish the day, and that's a reminder there is some movement about, and Stokes has played very well. Takes a slightly quizzical look at the pitch, but he'll close today on 59 and Sibley on 86 from 253 balls. He's been there from the start, and he's seen it all the way through to the 82 overs that were bowled today. And that's a pretty tired looking West Indies team that's trooping off, and they'll have taken all that into account, I'm sure, when they decided to put England into bat today. But they've put some pretty hard yards in there. The scoring rate there has never got beyond any sort of control, 2.5 and over, so they had been able to rein things in. And they'll know if they come back tomorrow with that new ball, and they can take 3 wickets quickly. And as we know, England's batting lineup can be fragile, although in this match it does go a long way down, with Stuart Broad, of course, having scored a Test century. So the England players are applauding Dom Sibley predominantly for that very patient, disciplined, attritional innings that he's played today. And the West Indians trooping off. I think they'll be glad to get their feet up after that long day in the field.